So, our latest entrant into the discount bin. Welcome one Jennifer Lopez, 55 years old, 4 divorces, not 4 marriages. And now there's a story and a lesson to be learned here. We are not talking about dating. We are talking about power dynamics, and boy, there's a dynamic here. Strap in. All the things that I have warned you all about for years and years and years. And fellas, you got to catch that work tonight. I know for the fellas, I've been whacking you for a minute here, but dudes, I got to stay on you. I got to stay on the men. Because this is the danger of nostalgia. Women know that men are the true romantics. Men are nostalgic. We don't leave the relationships. If we've decided that you're the one, that's it. We've made up our minds and nothing's going to change that. Men are not 1 foot in the relationship, 1 foot out. And that gets used against you, particularly if you're weak, you're vulnerable, and somebody can see you've got nostalgia eyes. And that's what happened to little old Ben Affleck. Ben, who has been dealing with a number of different issues. It's not just substance abuse. He's been dealing with a number of different issues. So he's been looking for a good replacement for Jennifer Garner, and he went to the other Jennifer and dead end. Yes, I told you so. No, everybody did not know it. Remember when they first were getting together to get married, I had folk who were calling me and commenting in my comment section, telling me that I was wrong. I didn't know what was really going on. How can I speak on that? How can you be so sure they gonna make it? Well, couple years later,
nigga, please.
Yeah, we see how that turned out. So, no, everybody did not know it. No, everybody did not see it. No, everyone did not call it. You all, those of you who remember my program, y'all remember I had folk disputing me on that. Well, here we are. I'm wagering we're not going to hear from any of those people tonight. I'm wagering we won't. But there are a lot of lessons to be learned here. There are a lot of lessons to be learned. There's so much I want to go down here, and we're just going to go ahead and jump right off into it. Now, there are stories that are coming out here. I want y'all to understand how demonic this is. You take a look at this. Take a look at this headline here from Yahoo News, Yahoo Entertainment. The timing of Jennifer Lopez's divorce filing, quote, brilliant and strategic, say divorce attorneys. When have you heard of something being described as brilliant and strategic for filing divorce? When does a man file divorce, cheat on a woman, and it's called brilliant and strategic? When does that ever happen? So welcome to the world where, yes, whatever you do to men, well, that's perfectly fine. Welcome to that. And there's a reason why that's what they're saying. Let me go ahead and take you over to the New York Post. Their article here, you can clearly see where it shows you here. It says, Jennifer cited irreconcilable differences. So in other words, I'm not happy. That's it. That's the only thing you have to say. I'm not happy. Oh, divorce. She cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for her split from Ben Affleck after 2 years of marriage. The Marry Me singer, 55, officially filed for divorce from Affleck, 52, A-Rod, 48, which just so happened to be the pair's, she filed for divorce on August 20th, which just so happened to be the pair's 2nd anniversary of their wedding ceremony.
What?
And according to the Daily Mail, that choice was intentional on Jennifer Lopez's part.
Damn!
Quote, Jennifer said she was tired of being humiliated by Ben, and she waited until the 2-year anniversary because she wanted it to sting. Brilliant and strategic. And that's what they're saying. Yahoo. Brilliant and strategic. that she would wait until their 2-year wedding anniversary. I'm going to divorce you on the 2-year wedding anniversary because I want it to hurt. I want it to sting. They go on here to say, now this is from TMZ's article, but it did not sting, the insider claimed. He's been done for a long time, and deep down, she knows this. He let her have this so that she wouldn't look like the villain. What the hell? What? What the hell? What kind of logic is this? Another source allegedly told Us Weekly, quote, the timing of the divorce was a big F you to Ben. Now, one more thing. Lopez also listed the date of separation as April 26, 2024, and waived the right to spousal support, and asked the judge to deny Affleck's support, because, by the way, she's worth more than him. She requested that Affleck be dropped as her last name. So, yeah, she's going straight to nasty business. She's going straight to it. Not holding back nothing. There's a lesson and a few lessons in here to be learned. Let me start with the first one here. The first lesson I wanted to start with is, how in the hell did you get into this to begin with? How did this happen? Could you have seen it? Could you have noticed it? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what's really happening right now. This is Jennifer Lopez's Instagram on your screens. On your screens is Jennifer Lopez's Instagram. And it's not what you might think it is. Now remember, they separated back in April. She just filed for divorce. But when you go to her Instagram, it's not what you would usually expect to see. Whoa, who is this? Well, this Big Ben Affleck. Now, it's dated February, so apparently she didn't go back before February. But by the way, there's Big Ben Affleck there. Why, he's still on there. As a matter of fact, yeah, we're going to come back to this from her Greatest Love Story Never Told, a documentary that she made about her and him because, of course, that's, the great way to do things. Now, this is back in February. This should have been telling to him back in February, although he probably was the one already stretching out by then.
I used to be terrified to be alone. I didn't know what I was going to do by myself. Who was going to take care of me? Who was going to protect me? This one therapist said to me, "Can you be alone?" And I was like, I can do it.
This one therapist said to me. What? My therapist said to me, "Can you be alone?" Not can you be a good wife? Can you be alone? Then you all wonder why I warn you about these therapists. You want to know why women go to therapy and get worse? It's because you're not allowed to go doctor shopping, but they can go therapist shopping. And they go for the therapist who's going to tell them whatever it is they want to hear. She's married. Can you be alone? Okay.
I'll be alone till Christmas, okay? Erasing everybody from your phone who could possibly be somebody you even think likes you. Block everybody, and just be alone. I used to be terrified to be alone.
I mean, they're making whole movies about this now. Now, of course, Ben probably already knew this stuff, but yeah. Making whole movies about it. On her Instagram, though, if you go over there, a little bit different.
I'm still in love with you. You know I can't get enough. I love that shit. You know I can't get enough.
Okay, this music here, is she competing with Britney Spears? I don't know. She's still got a bunch of wedding stuff up on there.
You know I can't
She's still got a bunch of wedding stuff on there, but not just wedding stuff in general. She still got Ben on her Instagram.
After I had a big hit with the drive-through commercial, Dunkin' made me brand ambassador because they know they looked at the numbers. I'm like, we don't need anybody else.
Why is he talking like that? Ben, why are you talking like that? I saw Ice Spice, I think that is. Why is he talking like this? What the hell is he doing?
We know what sells. Every man, regular guy, Boston guy. Where are you from?
I'm from the Bronx.
So he trying to talk like her, and she talking like she got some sense for once in her damn life. Welcome to Bizarro World. Welcome to Bizarro World. So the hood rat is talking like she's from the sensible upper scale part of Boston, and the Boston dude is talking like he from the Bronx. Stop the world and let me off.
All right, someone's a joker.
Yeah, y'all, stop the world and let me off. Okay. By the way, you notice who shared this?
Had a big hit with the drive-through commercial.
Jennifer Lopez thought it was hilarious, so she shared that. Boy, she got a lot of pictures of herself. Oh, April of last year. April of last year. When did she say they were separated? Oh, April of this year. Okay. 1 year ago today. All right. I'm sorry, this August of last year. August of last year. Yep. Now, this is still on her Instagram right now. I'm showing you live feed from her Instagram. It's still there right now. We're going to come back to this. There's a point I want to make about this, so we're going to come back to that. Just wanted to show you, by the way, you know, if he had worked out like this for the Batman movie, his trainers would have been a little bit happier with him. Damn! Just saying. Batman versus Superman, they would have been a little bit happier if he had coming through there looking like this. Okay. All right, she wants you to know she's happy for Father's Day. Oh, we're going to come back to that. She said he's an amazing father. All right. June last year. This was just last year, folks. Just June last year. Man, it's a trip how the world keep turning.
1984 has been a tough year. Our sales are down. Our growth is down.
Sonny, I brought you in here to grow the basketball business.
By the way, I think Damon and Jennifer Lopez got a movie or something. It's going to be odd for Ben to show up for that. So, yeah. Oh, look at this one. My husband's happy face. My husband's happy face. Chris Rock once made a joke about that, about being married. As a man, when you get married, women tend to turn you into their pet. You're not Ben anymore. You're my husband's happy face. She's talking about you as an object, not as a person. Think about that for a few moments. Now you're an object. Well, an object is something you used to go bandy around to other people because you think it'll improve your status. Fellas, this is a deadly thing. This is not a compliment. This is not a compliment when they're referring to you as my husband. They're doing that for a third party. They're doing this for other people. They think this is something that they're flagging in front of other females. We're going to come back to it, by the way. Yeah, thought that was there. This picture here. Very, very telling. Ben is not a short guy at all. I mean, he was taller than Henry Cavill, so Ben is not a short guy at all. So that taller than me thing, the females love that. Yeah, but that's yet another thing. She didn't just put up once, she put it up twice. Is this supposed to be sending a message to A-Rod? Was this supposed to be sending a message to your backup dancer husband? Who's this supposed to be sending a message to? I'm just asking. I'm not dunking on her tonight. I'm just saying, by the way, I couldn't help but notice these things. Doesn't this look nice?
Guys, I did it. I found the person that makes me the happiest I have ever.
This aged incredibly well, didn't it? There's some lessons. I'm taking you through all this to let you know. By the way, this is still on her Instagram. She posts this video with LL Cool J breathing down her neck, literally. And then a little bit later, here you are with Ben.
I did it. I found the.
There you go. Now, I can keep going, by the way, but I want you to know that Ben is still on her Instagram right now, tonight. Still on her Instagram right now, tonight, as we speak. She hasn't let that go. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? This tells you that this is what happens when folks are not happy with the way things go, because she had a plan. This was supposed to go a certain way for her. You're supposed to be there for her because there's something that she's looking for. She's looking to get something out of this. And your job is to supply that. And if you don't, well, then all of a sudden, Little Miss Nice, Wonderful, booed up with you. Well, this was her November 2022. And then here she is. Oh, I'm trying to give him a big F you. Just that quickly, all of a sudden, we're going from booed up to, by the way, F you. I want to divorce you. I want to file for divorce on a day that I think will hurt you the most. Really? Really? I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to keep that in mind when you see that kind of thing. Doesn't that stick out to you that the moment she's not happy, all of a sudden it's F you and I'm going to file for divorce on the anniversary date? Really? That can you imagine being married to that? Can you imagine being married to that? I'm going to hurt a lot of feelings with tonight's program here because I'm going to go into some places you're not going to like. Why did she file for divorce? Why did she file for divorce? She needed to file for divorce, and she needed to file for divorce first. She needed to go ahead and hit you. She needed to go ahead and hit Ben quickly as she could there because she wanted to set the narrative. These are things that men generally don't find out or don't figure out or don't learn until way after it's too damn late. But she wanted to set the narrative. She already knew that she was going to leave. The great lie today is that men are the problem in relationships. 90% of the relationships endings are initiated by the females. They know we're not going anywhere. When men say we in it to win it. We're the ones sitting up there at that wedding chapel. See, this is how you get caught. And I just have to be brutally honest with you. Fellas, this is how we get caught as men because our natural inclination and our natural nature as men is used against us. Jason, what do you mean? For men, that is our word. As a man, your word means something. Understand something. When you're standing at the altar in front of the priest or whatever, when a man gives his oath, as men, we understand that if you break your word, that could cost you your life. That is what we are taught as men. If you break your word as a man, you understand you will be physically accountable to other men. You'll be physically accountable to other men. You don't get to just dance around and break your word and go trotting down the street. You break your word to other men, to other people, and there'll be consequences if you do that. You'll find yourself in a situation that could cost you your life. So as men, we're raised and taught that we have to keep our word no matter what. Are we requiring the same thing of the female population? The divorce rates and the breakup of relationship rates shows you only one part of society is being told that when you give your word, you have to mean that. So as a man, we understand what that means when you're standing in front of a priest, when you're standing in front of a judge, when you're standing in front of a recruiter, when you're standing in front of a president, that when we give our word, that means our life is on the line. But nobody is saying that to the other person. They're told, well, you can mean it as long as it's convenient to you. And then if you want to break your word, there's no stigma against you for being an oath breaker. And the women listening tonight, y'all know I'm telling the truth. Folks, if I'm telling the truth here tonight, give me the thumbs up emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's 1,800 people in here live in just the first 20 minutes. And I'm not going for popularity here, but I do want to make a point because this is important. Jennifer Lopez in the discount bin, and I want you to understand exactly how she got there. You might think you know, but you don't. I also want to explain to you the mistakes that were made, and a lot of you guys have made the same mistake or are in the process of making the same mistake and don't realize it because you don't understand the assumptions that were actually made. But if you like tonight's program, if you agree with what I just said, give me the thumbs up emoji and hit the likes button for me. As men, we're told we can't break our word. We got to mean that. We have to understand what the difference is. As men, we are taught that our role is to die for the woman and the children. The women are never taught that it is her responsibility to die for you. Did you get that? These are assumptions you did not know that you were making. As men, we're taught that we have to die for that woman you're standing at the altar with. Did anyone check with her to find out if she also believes that she needs to die for you? And not saying that hyperbolically, that she literally means I have to die for this man. You see, when you say it like that, then she's like, oh, wait a minute, no. I mean, I fool with you. I just don't fool with you like that, though. And then it becomes that. Fellas, if you knew that the woman you were standing at the altar with had zero intention of ever dying for you, would you still do it? Have you ever sat your woman down and asked her, would you die for me? And then shut the hell up and waited. Let me go ahead and get off into something right here that's going to hurt your damn feelings. I'm here to bust things up tonight. Let me hurt your feelings about a few things. See, when you got the wrong idea, when you have the wrong ideas about things, you let folks sit up here and talk you into mess. You let them talk you into phony, false belief systems, not fact systems. They sit up here and tell you about behavior that is supposedly so-called toxic. Very interesting. But they tell you that men are the only ones who have toxic behavior. And I've told you all right here, I've tried to warn you for years. Fellas, 720 degrees of the analysis you receive absolutely nowhere else. You will hear what you're about to hear. You've heard it from me a bunch of times. You check and see if this is a unified ideology. If this matches up perfectly with everything I've ever said and refutes perfectly everything you hear over there in the winosphere, the old manosphere, the red pills, the dead pills, and all those folk over there who don't know what they're talking about, but will make YouTube videos all damn day with stuff you can't actually use. Entertaining, but you can't use it. What I'm saying here, you'll be able to use it. And I want to ask you fellas a question about toxic. Fellas, how do you figure a woman will die for you if you have not proven that that woman will fight for you?
Damn!
Oh, bring it back. You see, Uncle Jason been telling y'all about that for years with other people trying to gaslight you and deceive you. You were told that was a negative thing. Well, how the hell is that working out for you now? You were told that that was a negative metric to measure. And I've always told you, fellas, if your woman looks you in your face and says, I would never fight somebody over you. Ain't nobody gonna make me do that. Ask her why that is. And I promise you, the next words you're going to hear is, I did that before and I learned that was a mistake and I ain't going to do that again. So what she just told you is that there was another man that she knew. There was another man that she was with. Let me go ahead and translate that for you. What you're saying is there was another man you were with and he was worth fighting over. But I'm not. And I guarantee you 100% of the time, every time it is, Mr. I wouldn't fight for you, Mr. My woman wouldn't fight for me, is always the guy who's being asked to do 10 times what Mr. She would fight for him was required to do. She would throw blows over Pookie, Ray, Mike, Lil Slug. She would throw blows over them. She ain't gonna lift a finger for you, but she expects you to risk life and limb for her. And somebody told you that the metric I gave you all to measure with wasn't reliable, it was toxic. How's that working out now? Tell them to keep that energy. How do you measure if a woman is willing to die for you when that woman isn't even willing to fight for you? She's not willing to get upset over you. Everything for her has to be subdued. What she's saying is that you have to be the one who takes all the risk, all the liability, extends yourself. She is not going to do that for you. That's her idea of a perfect relationship. You as the man risk everything. She gets everything and risks nothing. And you let some stone cold jackasses out here make you into an ass by telling you that it's toxic to have that metric. Now you're standing at the altar with someone who is standing there with you in bad faith. You're standing at that altar telling yourself, this is the person I will die for. And she's standing at the altar looking at you saying, this is the man who will die for me. But she is not saying to herself, this is the man that I will fight or die, I will kill or die for. She's not saying that. Then you wonder why it is that 60% of your divorces happen. You wonder why that is. 80% initiated by the females. You wonder why that is. One of you was committed, the other one was not. And the one who was committed doesn't even know how to define not being committed. Doesn't know how to identify it, doesn't know how to test for it, and wouldn't test for it if you put it in front of him. See, that's where your thugs, I'm going to say it.
Damn!
That's where your thugs and dope dealers, when they talk about it, they need a ride or die chick. Oh, he going to test her? She don't get to sit next to him with the life and death chances he taking, and she gets to just sit over there and be cute. No, she got to crash out. He requires that as a condition of being in his presence. You got to crash out. I got to know that you all the way down. And I don't get to take these chances and you sitting over there taking none. No, you got to take every chance. You got to be ready to get hurt. You got to be ready to get stabbed. You got to be ready to be arrested. You got to be ready to deal with everything that comes with it. You can't be halfway in, halfway out. Meanwhile, back over there in Poindexter land, Mr. Nice Guy is saying that the females get to stay around him, get his protection and provision, and he expects nothing in return. Yeah, did that line up perfectly with what I've always taught you? And your so-called red pill folk, by the way, they've never said this. Look for them to start integrating it into their philosophies next week. Now that they've heard it from me, it's like, damn, that works. Yeah, it really does. But fellas, if your female has looked you in your eye and told you that she will not fight for you and she will not die for you, you go into the altar. And if she does tell you she's willing to die for you, you need to tell her, okay, I need to see some receipts. I need to see some receipts. In the chat room, Belize Gal said they're talking about doing jail time. Sorry, can't do it. Baby, I feel sorry for any man who extend himself for you then. Because you want a man who is willing to take penitentiary chances to defend you. Defending your life might get your man arrested. And you don't want him sitting there saying, wait a minute now, let me add you up right quick. Okay, this could go bad for me. I don't know if I want to deal with that right now. I got to be at work in the morning. You don't want him making that calculation. Hey, nigga, get over here. No, you don't want the man making that calculation. If it was you at risk, you want him to take penitentiary chances, no questions asked, no hesitation. But when she's told, by the way, hey, baby, we both need to be ready to catch some charges. Oh, wait a minute. I got a job. I got a degree. Heifer, I got one too. Yeah, but I got a real job and a real degree. Fellas, I'm just saying, if nobody wanted to get down and dirty and settle with you in the real damn world for some metrics you can depend on, I'm talking about some metrics you can actually rely on, some signs you can actually rely on. Fellas, if that woman tells you she's willing to die for you and she ain't never fought for you, she's a lying ass. She's a lying ass. So you can sit there and fall for it if you want to. But by the way, I told you what the deal was. If she says she's willing to die for you and she ain't even willing to raise her fist to nobody over you, man, you stupid as hell as a man if you fell for that one. You never saw one side. You think she's just going to jump up one day and turn into damn me, Bruce Lee Rat, whatever? You think that's going to happen? You think you're a woman who's never said a crossword to nobody over you, you think one day something gonna jump off and all of a sudden she's gonna jump and flip and put on her blue bandana over her head and start knocking hoes out? You think that's gonna happen? Some of you fellas kill me with that right there. You like the females who think that they're gonna get a beta who's gonna be an alpha. Fellas, think about that for a few moments. She's never indicated that that's in her. You just telling you, well, don't worry, it'll kick in. It's not going to kick in. She's already shown you that she ain't built like that. She's here to get what she going to get. And you're here to extend yourself. And if something goes wrong, she said, oh, well, I'm so sorry, you gone. And then you wonder why she's like, yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, I can divorce you just that quickly too. Go ahead and make your notes and then ask yourselves why it is your red pill folk have never explained to you why those are necessary functions. They've never even explained to you that that's something that should be done and that it's actually a necessary function because it's a clear, undeniable indicator of how committed to you the woman you are with is. If she is willing to catch charges, she's willing to catch time, she's willing to take graveyard chances, that woman is fully committed to you. Whether you are fully committed to her or not, whether you really feeling her like that or not, she's truly committed to you. Miss J-Lo is committed to what she can get, but not to you. A lot of you fellas, most of the men listening right now, most of you are with a J-Lo. She probably ain't cute, but that's where you at. Just reality. Let's go ahead and deal with a couple other things here. She has a fantasy, and you are here to help her fulfill it. Let me go ahead and show you this right here. She has a fantasy. She's got a fantasy. This right here, I want to show you all this. Now, she's got a couple of videos that are still on her Instagram right now. A couple of videos. And I want to say something to all the long-term relationship men, all the newlywed married men. I want y'all to know most of y'all get played and fooled by this one thing right here. This is not good. There are going to be a bunch of women who ain't going to like I'm saying this, but this right here, this little selfie with your man driving the car thing, this is more showing off her pet. This is for other women. This is supposed to be her stunting on other women. She's using you, not because she's thrilled to be in this position that she's in and that she's commemorating it. She's doing it specifically to go upload it online to show other women. Women who have failed to actually accomplish anything of any real significance. They've run out of things. They don't really have anything else to offer. They go looking for females who are single and then say, okay, I'm going to go stunt on them. But to the fellas out there, you all have seen this kind of video over and over and over again. I'm here to inform you tonight. This is not a positive. This isn't a compliment. This is propaganda. It's not a compliment. And you've seen this kind of video over and over again. Now, as men get took in by this because what the man is telling himself is, this is my ride or die, literally. While she's happy in the passenger seat, and just look at her. She's just thrilled to be next to me. That's the impression that she's trying to give you. That's what you're supposed to think. Oh, she's just thrilled to be with me. So you think you're getting the same level of passion, genuine passion that Pookie and Ray Ray were getting. That's what this is intended to deceive you into thinking. As men, I'm just letting all you fellas know, there's a bunch of you fellas in right now, you've had exes, ex-girlfriends, ex-wives, and they took this picture. They took these videos. How'd that work out? When a woman does this isn't a compliment. This isn't about showing you. This is about showing her. And that she's dunking on other people. And it's meant to get you to say to yourself, oh, well, this is me and her riding off into the sunset and I'm the only place she wants to be. Yeah, that's the impression you're supposed to take away. That's what it's supposed to do. So I wanted you all to see that, to realize that this is misdirection. This is misleading. What he thinks this video means is not what she thinks it means. She does not think that that it means the same thing at all. And a bunch of you fellas here, y'all got the pictures in your own lives to prove it. What did that mean? What was it for? What did it accomplish? It got you to sit still. It's to get you to buy in. She posted this video on her Instagram too, by the way, when they first got together the first time. She posted this too. Yeah, nostalgia. Take a look at the thumbnail image tonight. Red flags and nostalgia. You want to know that she knows what she was doing? You want to know that she knows what she was weaponizing? Yeah, nostalgia. Hey, Ben, remember when you were younger? If you could do it over again? $720 you receive nowhere else. Why would she do that? She knows the effect of nostalgia on a man. She knows that when a man sees a woman, she's realized that. What I've taught you all, when a man sees a woman, he doesn't see just the woman. He sees two people, the woman sitting in front of him and the woman that he originally met. He sees both of you. Now, this right here, I had to put this one up for a reason. I had to show these pictures here for a reason. Fellas, to the men listening, don't let yourself get caught like this. Don't let yourself get caught like this. This is last-ditch effort stuff. Bloating her ego. Well, if I make her just feel a certain way, then she'll back off of that bull crap she on. Fellas, this doesn't work. The sexual lusting thing where you're grabbing your woman's ass for everybody to see and you're posting it online for everyone to see, this doesn't work. This isn't going to make her feel, this isn't going to ignite in her to figure out, okay, well, I need to act right because my man really fooled with me for real. This doesn't work, fellas. Oh, don't worry, baby. I ain't worried about all them 20-something-year-old females out there and whatnot. No, I'd rather have yo fix-a-flat built ass over here. What? Much rather grab that. Yo 55-year-old fix-a-flat ass. Baby, that's what a man really needs, baby. I'm not nostalgic for when we was in our 20s and things really popping. I don't even think about that no more. No, let me go ahead and grab this wet paper sack ass you got. I'm perfectly fine with it, baby. All these old young tender females out here just throwing it like a frisbee at me. I ain't even worried about that. Just you, baby, just you. Fellas, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. You're telling yourself in your head that you're communicating something to her, that you're proving something to her. This doesn't work. And if you're in a situation where she's got you doing this kind of stuff and this is intended to reassure her, or you're telling yourself that it will, it won't, this doesn't work. And the reason why this doesn't work is because this is not her competing for your affection. This is you desperately competing for hers. You've given up the power dynamic. She's supposed to be down. She's supposed to be into you. She's supposed to understand that the very fact you've allowed her into your presence, that proves everything she needs to know right there. You start going above and beyond and extra, and here, go post this online and let me go show the world me gripping my chick's backside. Dude, this type of exhibitionism, this doesn't work. This is a sign that y'all's relationship is already over. It's already terminally ill. This doesn't work. And he was sitting there doing it, and it doesn't work because it can't. You're not fixing the issue. But he went ahead and went for it anyway. Let's go for the next issue right here. Now, how in the world did she get him here? Well, first of all, she acts nice, boy. Did she love bomb him? She's going to act perfect in the beginning. Everything is great. Everything is fine. While you and me in the car, everything is wonderful. She is on her P's and Q's. She's a model citizen. Everything is great, man. And then once she's finally got you where she wants you, oh, I got that that leash on you. Now, all of a sudden, she wants you to pay bills. Remember, she went house hunting.
Damn!
Remember, I warned you all about that from the very beginning. When I saw they were looking for a house and they wasn't even married yet, I'm like, she's going house hunting? Dude, she's looking for a man to foot the bills. She's looking for a man to carry that financial load. But not because she wants the man, but because emotionally that makes her feel less insecure. So the first thing she did was sit up here and, oh, baby, everything's great, everything's fine, everything's wonderful. Boy, you can grab a backside, is this, that, and the other. Oh, everything is lovely. She's feeling the breeze. She's enjoying it. Can't you tell? And then next thing you know, she's filing for divorce on your second anniversary date, and she's being called brilliant for doing that.
What?
Disinformation and misinformation. Disinformation and misinformation. When you find yourself trying too hard to prove that she's sexy, now you're desperate for validation, and it's a trap intended to get you to overinvest. But it goes deeper than that. Fellas, these are life lessons. You probably married to a chick like this right now. Don't hurt the messenger. The next lesson I want you to take away from this, from the discount bin, when you got a chick who's in the discount bin, this is the peril and the danger and the hazard that you run into when you are rummaging through the discount bin. Ben Affleck turned back around after 2 decades and went rummaging through the discount bin. And remember what I said from the very beginning, Ben, you don't have to marry her. Okay, if you want to have some nostalgia sex with her, man, let it all hang out. Do what you do. She gonna rock with you no matter what. You don't have to marry her. But him being in his fragile, desperate state of mind, he went off and married her when he didn't have to. Tell me what would have been different if he had just gone ahead and dated her. How would his life be different? How would his life be one bit different than it is today? And there were some things for him to learn here, because what you have to learn here, Ben, is that, by the way, your woman has been with a bunch of men.
Damn!
She's been with a bunch of men. A female who has been with a bunch of men. She's had 4 husbands. A female who's been with a bunch of men. Dude, every relationship is on its way to an end for her. That's the habit that she's formed. You think you're going to overcome her habits? No, she's formed a practice and a habit that she goes from man to man, because her goal is to prove to herself that she's the bag, she's the prize, she's the winner. And if she can get you, she can get another one. So she goes through all that work to get you. And then once she's got you, she's like, by the way, I did you a favor marrying you. I did you a favor. When you grab a chick who's been with a bunch of men, a chick who's been with a bunch of men ain't good for nothing but going with a bunch of men. And guess what? She has found her way back to the streets. What do you know? All that nostalgia bait and all that, oh, she remembers the time. All that stuff you were telling yourself, and she showed you, by the way, not only can I divorce you, I'm gonna wait until our 2nd anniversary to divorce you. I'm gonna do it on the marriage. That's what the marriage means to her. The marriage to her is so important, it's so great, it's so sacred that she's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can weaponize the marriage date. Let me divorce you on that date. Not let me protect that date is special to me. By the way, I'm going to divorce you on our anniversary. If you don't believe fat meat is greasy, they'll show you. A woman who's been with a bunch of men, you can sit up here and tell yourself that you're great and wonderful and special. That's what you wish to believe. That's what you have to believe if you are going to get her to go along with the program. Well, that's what you have to believe, but you're getting took. Let me go ahead and reiterate why it is that Jennifer Lopez in the discount bin. Jennifer Lopez, 4 husbands, 55 years old, 2 kids. Baby, your time done been come and gone. Let me go ahead and tell y'all what happens next. What happens next is Jennifer Lopez either goes for a guy who's older, and up until now, these fellas have all been younger than her. A-Rod younger, Ben Affleck younger. She's been going for dudes younger than her. My prediction is the next fella gonna be one older. She's gonna go for a guy who's 10, 20, 30 years older than her so she can be young and hot to him. She 50-something years old, but be young and hot to him. That's the way that goes, fellas. When a woman's in the discount bin, when she goes, she's over the age of 40, over the age of 50, and she's looking for a fella who's 10, 15 years older than she is. No kids, no nothing. Oh, yeah, discount bin. There you are. Discount bin. Discount bin. Yeah, like a 70-year-old. I mean, she's 55 now. She's 55 now. She's just looking for a fella who gonna take whatever she got, gonna give her whatever she wants, a fella who's gonna act like a fan and be grateful. Because, oh, that's the situation where she would feel most secure, is a man who's just gonna, he's so old and so wore out that he's just, man, damn, he just keep cheating. A fella who is old but is willing to suffer. That's what they eventually end up going for, is a fella who's beat down, a fellow who doesn't have any better options. He doesn't really get around with females like that. He's easily impressed. And, oh well, let's see if he'll just go ahead and take this. And then she got him working triple time. Not necessarily that he doesn't want sex, but that he doesn't really have the will to fight for it. That he is more interested in having a companion than he is with having what he actually wants. He's a guy who's accustomed, little old sad sack. He's accustomed to taking whatever scraps you sling off the table at him. He'll sit there and be emasculated without saying a word, without doing anything about it. And just understand, she'll sit there and tell folks she likes you. Yeah, she likes you, but she doesn't respect you. But my prediction is that Jennifer Lopez's next stop, because she's not going to give it up because she doesn't have status on her own. She is too old to have status on her own. Let me go ahead and take it there right quick. Ladies, you might be hurting here for just a moment, but it is for your own good.
Alrighty then.
Jennifer Lopez's point right here, there's a reason why women hate talking about their age. They hate telling their age. The reason they hate telling their age is because that's where you get your peak value from. There is no such thing as peak value at 55 years old, except to a nigga that's 75 years old. A 55-year-old ain't a dime nowhere on this planet except to a broke young man or a desperate old man. A 55-year-old is not a dime. Ladies, let me just go ahead and lay that on the bricks for you right quick. I'm not gonna sit here and sizzle you and grill you too long. Don't worry. I'm not gonna get you burnt. I'm gonna get you a little bit golden sauteed. I ain't gonna burn you. I just gotta get that out though. No such thing as a dime over the age of 40. Well, she's going to go looking for an easy target. She went for Ben. That was an easy target, at least for a little while. That blew up in her face. She's going to go looking for another easy target. Well, that would most likely, but she wants an easy target that's papered up. Well, that's going to have to be somebody older than her now. She's going to have to go for a dude who's older than her, some old fella who he's a fan, he recognizes her, and she's a dime to him. Yeah, a 55-year-old sure is a dime at the senior citizens home. What? So he's too old to be able to grab him a 20 or 30-something-year-old. So here, let me go to this discount bin over here. Back up in there. Oh, look here. We got an old National Lampoon DVD. Oh, okay. Oh, look at this one. These old metal detectors. I didn't even know they made these right here. You know, all right. Oh, look, I was digging through the discount bin. Right behind Mariah Carey, there was a J-Lo. Yeah, right behind Mariah Carey, I found a J-Lo sitting right back here behind Mariah. And what I'm saying here is that, fellas, there's a discount bin everywhere. Especially if you're a man who's got his act and his resources together. Man, you're going to stumble across the discount bin. I'm telling you how to play it. I'm telling you what to do. Because it can only end up one damn way. So Jennifer Lopez is going to go looking for my prediction is the next guy is going to be older than her. And if he's not older than her, he's going to be considerably younger. She might find some little dude to sit up here and lay up with that's closer to her age right now. But ultimately where she settles down at, I'm predicting is going to be somebody older than her or significantly younger this time. A fella in her age range within 7 to 10 years, and that's going to be too young. That's going to be too old. She's going to want somebody who sees her as a prize. And the only one who's going to do that is a young broke fella or an old papered up one. Fellas whose options are limited. They have to have transactional sex. That's where she's going to go next. Because let's be clear. I didn't show these pictures of Jennifer Lopez because I was trying to be mean. I didn't do that because I was trying to be mean. When I was showing these pictures of her without the makeup years ago, I wasn't doing that to be mean. I was doing that to say, this is what a man wakes up next to. Not the caked on makeup and Photoshop pictures that you all see in the filters on Snapchat and Instagram. That's not what you're next to. Not what you're next to. When you wake up next to Jennifer Lopez, this is what you're waking up to in the morning. Are you ready for that not so glamorous look every day? It's like, damn, she don't look like the same person. That's what you really marrying. That's what you really with. All those Instagram pictures, man, that's the lie. The Instagram videos where she can turn the filters on, that's the lie. That's phony. That's her made up. That's her dressed up and dolled up. That's not what you're going to be living with. This is what you're going to be living with. Now, it's only a fair question to ask. How much do you bid for a 55-year-old with 2 kids and 4 husbands and our sexual rap sheet that looks like the Manson murders?
Damn!
How much do you bid, men? Because her money is irrelevant. How many songs she's made is irrelevant. That doesn't matter. It doesn't help you. She's looking for you to be the bag. So how much do you bid for a 55-year-old with 2 kids who's been down with Diddy's freak-offs? You know it. Come on now, everybody talking about the freak-off except Jennifer. She was in the club riding and dying. She was in the club when they was shooting niggas. You know she been to the freak-off. Oh, you know she got her card punched. You know she done got her card punched. She ain't want to deal with another black man again after that. Boy, Diddy got away with these hoes, don't he? Did you say hoes? I damn sure did.
And deal with it, nigga.
Boy, Diddy got away with them hoes. Diddy take their ass to the freak off. They go looking for the first white man they can grab. Oh, they go looking for the first white man they can grab. Soon as Diddy get done with them at the Intercontinental, oh, they come stumbling out. Their eyes is bugged out. Oh, she's spraying herself with air freshener, not even perfume, air freshener, disinfectant. She don't know what to do. She's walking down the hallway all crazy. She's like, oh, when I get back to New York, when I get back to LA, I'm gonna grab me the first square ass white man I can find.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Boy, Cassie. Remember Diddy and J-Lo, Cassie, all them broads from that era. As soon as Diddy got done with them, oh, wait a check, please, white man. Need me a white man. Oh, I can't take this over here no more. I need me a white man. I need me somebody square, milk toast, and settle down. That's I done did too much over here. Y'all know Diddy be bringing them he be bringing them other men up in there with him. There's a sight you won't be able to get out of your heads easily. Yes, sir. Can you imagine if you the female in the room, you like the only one in there, you the target of the freak off? It's like 3 dudes. You know, Diddy said he like them strong and big. So, you surrounded by 3 big mendingos and, they grabbing your ankles and grabbing your wrists and grabbing your hair. And you feel like you getting grabbed by the queen from Aliens? I feel like you're getting attacked by Dr. Octopus? Her body has left the ground. Damn right. She's like, okay, let me go get me a white man here. Ben Affleck. It's like, he don't do none of that. He's just looking for a woman whose toe he can rub. All right, I'm good. Yes, sir. Did he be out here ruining them? They is runt. Not just ruined, runt. Oh no, we know there's footage of Jennifer Lopez. What, Suge Knight had it? Suge Knight had the video. They stopped him from putting it out. So yeah. Oh, Diddy is in high def in a few places. Jennifer Lopez, we know Diddy is in high def all over the damn place. But Jennifer Lopez is in high def in a few places. It's a few dudes got Jennifer Lopez at least in 2K. At least. Just saying. Fellas, do you know how the hell Ben ended up in this? Ben ended up in this because Ben doesn't value himself enough. But then again, that's the problem with men today. Most men today, I don't give a damn what their income level is. I don't give a damn what their social status is. I don't give a damn what their celebrity status is. Most men today are sexual scavengers. Yes, I said it. Most men today. How the hell do you think you end up with Shaquille O'Neal popping up in females' DMs on Instagram? That's a lame move. You Shaquille O'Neal. You supposed to be able to show up at a Lakers game. Hell, Michael Irvin was able to pull hoes in the damn lobby of the Marriott in Texas. He didn't even want her. She's like, oh, you don't want me? Lawsuit. How the hell are you Shaquille O'Neal raiding somebody's DMs? That's because after Shawnee, it's like, the grip ain't there. You feeling weak, bro. You ain't on your game. Shaquille O'Neal should be able to show up at any NBA game anywhere and be the man. Y'all don't hear Michael Jordan having them problems. Shaquille O'Neal should be able to show up at any NBA game anywhere on this planet and have 10, 20 females around him and just grab one by the wrist. Or better yet, just snap his finger. Come on. But he can't. He can't. He's popping up in random females' DMs just like the lames and the little broke dudes. That's why we can't convince 55-year-old Jennifer Lopez that she's in the discount bin, despite her track record of failure and failed results. That's why you can't convince them, because she got something in her DMs. She's got enough to convince her that she's still viable. You're not going to be able to convince her because she's looking at her DMs and she sees what's in there. She sees the overwhelming amount of attention that she's getting. And that's enough to let her tread water in the meantime. So her results show that she's in the discount bin, but them DMs keep feeding her hope that she's still got options. Even though the results clearly show she doesn't. But think about that. How many of these NBA players and NFL players and rappers pop up in random chicks' DMs? The chick who works down at damn me Five Guys. The chick who works down at the damn me Scoopy Dip. Let me go ahead and take a moment here to update y'all's files.
Join me, and I will complete your training.
These fellows who tell you that as men, a woman's money doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter to the extent that ours does. She needs to be productive. She doesn't have to be as productive as us, but she needs to be productive. And then when we say here that a man with money will marry a chick who works the drive-through window at McDonald's if she's cute enough and friendly enough. But it doesn't work the same way for females. Let me go ahead and update y'all's files here tonight for you. Yes, that is a true statement. Men who have their resources and whatnot, if the female is attractive enough and friendly enough and whatnot, yeah, she certainly has the opportunity to be with us, but she shouldn't.
What?
But she shouldn't. Yeah. I know. For all you sexual scavengers and bottom of the barrel folk out there listening to Fresh and Misfit all these damn years. Yeah, I mean, a female who works the drive-thru at McDonald's, yeah, you could take her, but you shouldn't. Not if you're a man who got something going for you. You could, but you shouldn't. A man who's got something going for him needs to be with a female who got something going for her. Because you're a man with something to lose. And a man with something to lose needs to be with a female with something to lose. A man who's going somewhere needs to be with a female who's going somewhere. If she's at the drive-thru at McDonald's and is not on her way to owning it, next chick, well, she cute enough. Okay, bro, your standards are bad. I didn't say you can't lay up with her. Do what you do. Knock yourself out. But she is not wife material. She's not. Except to a desperate guy who has no standards. So she needs to have something going for her. You're not supposed to be a guy who's got all this stuff going on here and the chick you with ain't really nothing popping. Jennifer Lopez is supposed to be out there on her Instagram. She was hitting the gym and this, that, and the other. Okay, but if your attitude's bad and if he's with you at 55 years old and then he finally realizes that, in the words of Mr. Spock from Star Trek, having is not so pleasing a thing as wanting. That it was a lot more fun to want Jennifer than it is to have Jennifer. That's the issue. Let me go ahead and tell the truth about men tonight. Fellas, to the men listening, we gotta be honest. It's hard for us, though, to really be forthcoming about these things because it's in our best interest to allow women to believe whatever it is they want to believe. Ladies, if you're over the age of 28, you're already in the discount bin. But it's true, and you know it. The real issue from there becomes, okay, well, what are your options? Because there's a wealth of dudes who will go through the discount bin. But can we just keep it real? And if she's over the age of 28, she's most likely already, y'all are already in the discount bin, to be totally honest with you. Discount does not mean unwanted. Discount does not mean unwantable. What it means is you are no longer at peak value. That's what it means. Those are incredibly, terribly frightening words for a female to hear because women understand that when they start losing leverage, it doesn't get any better. It's just this slide downhill. So they don't want to hear that they're not at their peak. That's why, shut up, don't talk about my age. Shut up, don't talk about my looks. Shut up, don't talk about my weight. Because they understand that once the value starts going, it doesn't start going and then plateau and stop. When a woman's value starts going, it just starts dropping. And there is no end in sight. That's why they don't like to hear that. But the truth of the matter is, ladies, once you exit your 20s, you're no longer at your peak anymore. But it's in men's interests to tell you that you are. Because it serves men's purposes. They know it's what you want to hear. It tickles your ears. It gets you to drop your defenses. It's what you want to hear. Ms. Miko, glad you asked. I'll have you call up here in a little bit so we can discuss that. So glad you asked. But they're terrified and afraid of that. What I'm saying here is that, by the way, when that happens, men, we lie to women by omission. We lie by omission. In the chat room, Skinny Man said that 28 is young. Well, that's interesting because all we ever hear about is that females are more mature than males, which, by the way, is a misnomer. That's not true. But anyway, all we hear about is females are more mature than males are, so actually 28 would not be. Furthermore, 28 is not socially young for a female because a female at 28 has had far more sexual and interpersonal experiences than a male at 28, unless he's a male in the top 10% and has been a male in the top 10% since his grade school days, which 99% of men are not. So unless you're a male who's been in the top 10% since your grade school days, no. You haven't had the options that the females around you have. The males, the only time a male can really have sex with a female who's older than them in high school is, man, if you get some crazy teacher out there who's going to make the news. The females, they got all sorts of men trying to shoot at them from an early age. They have options at an early age. Not to say that should be happening. I'm not saying it should be happening. It should absolutely not be happening. But I am describing the reality of the world they live in. By the time she's 17 years old, she got 25-year-olds willing to give her the time of day. A man who's a boy who's 17 years old doesn't have a bunch of 25-year-old lawyers. What? He doesn't have 25-year-old lawyers, 25-year-old female doctors, 25-year-old female engineers. He doesn't have that trying to talk to him at 17. Ain't nobody interested in you. So your experience is radically different than the females around you. Radically different. And it will stay that way. It'll stay that way. Some folks are going to think I'm going off on a tangent here tonight, but I do want to cover this right quick. In years gone by, you were informed by other people that, well, the young fellas need to wait around and get their weight up, and the older fellas get the pick of the litter and this, that, and the other. I want to talk to some of the older cats here tonight here. Fellas, that's not something to brag over or to use as leverage there the way y'all been doing it either. This idea that as a man, you get your weight up, you get your money up, you get your status up, and then you go deliver it to a 22-year-old or a 23-year-old, that's setting a bad precedent. And it's been setting a bad precedent. First of all, they see your ass is coming from a mile away. That's the first thing. These 20-something-year-old females see you coming from a mile away. But the other issue is you've removed the competitive aspect of it. The actual optimal strategy for males today, oh boy.
Join me, and I will complete your training.
Let me go ahead and update them files today. The optimal strategy for men today is not for you to go get into your 40s or your 50s and then go find a 25-year-old to go lay the world at her feet. That's not optimal. That actually isn't. Actually, what's optimal is if a man has a female, if you're in your 40s, you got a female who's in her late 30s and one in her 20s. Well, that would make more sense. But not to have just one. Because what you're teaching the females in their 20s is that they have a male sponsored program that the best and most accomplished men are waiting for her and waiting to circle back around. And the problem is, do you understand? They're not interpreting that as I'm lucky, let me go ahead and settle down. Females in their 20s are interpreting that as, oh, great, the candy store just got exponentially bigger because now she's got a bunch of fellas who are willing to buy Porsches and willing to buy Range Rovers and throw it at her feet. And if you think you're the only one putting the bid in, you're not. You're not. Where men do best is when they demonstrate they have more than one option, not when they just have one. And also, more than one option is not her age. She needs to have a female who's older that she sees that you have access to that makes a very clear communication of what your value actually is. As men, it's in our best interest, and when females are in the discount bin, shh, don't say nothing. Keep her chasing those carrots. Keep her chasing that belief. Yeah, I mean, it's in men's best interest to allow them to believe that it really is, but Eventually, reality is going to rear its ugly head. Eventually, reality is going to rear its gruesome head. And when it does, she's going to find out where her value actually is. I don't wish Jennifer Lopez any ill, but I'm just saying, hey, J-Lo, I see what it is. You are in your 50s and you're looking for a man who is built. Because you're still trying to fulfill that fantasy. Oh, he's tall and good looking and popular and this, that, and the other. And there are no new prospects lining up. So she went back through her mental and emotional Rolodex. I've told you for years now, when females reach a certain point, they end up just going through their mental and emotional Rolodex. Go see if anybody from the past is willing to answer the phone. And there was Ben. By the way, just thought I would just say one more thing. Just thought I would go ahead and throw one more thing here. Somebody else apparently, seemingly, possibly weighed in. Alex Rodriguez. Yeah, there's a blast from the past. It says Alex Rodriguez. Is he addressing the Bennifer divorce by sharing a cryptic quote? And the quote that he shared said, "You either go one way or the other. You might as well be the one deciding the direction." Now, that doesn't sound like it really has anything to do with them necessarily, but that gave the media a reason / excuse to bring up A-Rod. Oh yeah, to bring up A-Rod and one more thing. Yeah, that's A-Rod with Jennifer Lopez. By the way, oh boy, would anybody like to do a spectral analysis of where her lips have been? Oh, if you're kissing Jennifer Lopez, do you realize how many strange and foreign lands them lips have been to? I'm not trying to down nobody. I'm just saying, once your broad been in the freak off, oh boy, puts all this into a brand new light here. I ain't hating on you, A-Rod. I ain't hating on you. Just get some Listerine. But they may have an excuse to go ahead and talk about A-Rod because they wanted to show this. They wanted to get to showing this. Alex Rodriguez has moved on and is currently dating Jacqueline Cordero. And this is Miss Cordero. Yeah, and she certainly does fit the profile that A-Rod gave up Jennifer Lopez for, now don't she? Yeah, she fits the profile, doesn't she? Okay. Jennifer's not stupid. Jennifer's not completely foolish about this. Jennifer understands what's going on. Jennifer knows she's in the discount bin. Jennifer understands the options are low. Jennifer understands that Ben was probably the last train leaving. That's why she made a whole documentary about it. That was to get even, to put a spotlight on him, to try to knuckle him under, to try to make some sense about it. She's trying to get some more money going. She tried to go on tour. That didn't work. The discount bin has you flailing around like a fish after a certain amount of time. You start just flailing around. But to the men out there, you shouldn't get lost in the woods. Recognize when that's where you at and that's what you're dealing with. Fellas, you can have sex with whoever in the world you want to. Make sure that you can get up and leave. Don't be so desperate after all these years of being by yourselves. Don't be so desperate that you sit there and you end up putting yourself in a legally binding situation with somebody who's really looking for a wedding and not a marriage. They're looking for a sponsor. They're looking for a status symbol. They're looking for something to occupy them and entertain them, but they're not looking for what you're looking for. Many a man is going to wind up coming to ruin over this. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the Zoom link is open here. The Zoom link is open. It's been pinned at the top of the chat. So I definitely want you to go ahead and take advantage of this opportunity to go ahead and weigh in on this. I want to explain that. Ms. Miko, I'm waiting to hear from you here. So the link is up there for you as well. We return to the discount bin. It's not just because I called it. It's because there are lessons to be learned. Nostalgia was weaponized against Ben Affleck, but then again, it's weaponized against most men. It's weaponized against most men. Fellas, nostalgia is fine. Just make sure that it's a place that you visit, not a place you attempt to stay. Nostalgia is a fine and wonderful thing. Just make sure that it's a place that you visit, not a place that you attempt to stay. Ben Affleck's mistake was not dating Jennifer Lopez. It was not sleeping with Jennifer Lopez. It was attempting to marry her. That's completely unworkable. She's obviously not here for the same reasons as you. She's been with a lot of men since you two were together. So whatever the woman was that she was when you were with her, or that you think she was when you were with her, all those decades ago, that's not who she is today. She's somebody different now. She's somebody different now. She's not the same person as she was. This is how men get themselves into trouble with nostalgia. Nostalgia is deadly for men because men want to believe it. They want to believe that time is frozen and stood still. They want to believe that things are frozen and stood still and that she's sitting there waiting for you the way you've been sitting there waiting for her. Men are dutiful because most men don't have the option of not being. Most men don't have options like that. So they have to be dutiful. They have to be faithful. And everybody knows it while they try to gaslight us into thinking it's not true. Everyone knows that men are faithful and dutiful to a damn fault. They know it. That's why the reason why women are not afraid of marriage is because they know that the chances of the men filing for divorce are exponentially small. Except for the men who have options and don't have to put up with your bull crap.
And deal with it, nigga.
That's when you hear women talking about, oh, he could divorce me. Only the ones who have options, well, those are the most valuable men. Those are the ones we really want. Yeah, the men that they really want and the ones who are most valuable, yeah, he's the guy who doesn't have to tolerate anything he doesn't like. Well, of course you're afraid that he's going to leave. Well, he doesn't have to take your garbage. But the guy with limited options, oh, well, maybe he do. So it turns into that. You wind up being in a situation where, oh, well. So then if they do go grab some guy, they go grab some sad sack. This is where you fellas sitting up here with the pension pimping and I'll get in my 40s and get myself built up and then I'll go make some choices from the younger ones. Okay, fellas, I want y'all to understand there's piranhas out there. You should know that. Most of you, when you're sitting alone for so long, oh, if I meet one more old ass nigga try to convince me he used to be a player, dude, you're not. You weren't then, you're not now. If you're going to be dealing from the discount bin, you should be dealing with it from a position of strength. You're not doing that. Told these fellas for years about the company car. There's a reason for that. You're supposed to be the one who presents options, not the one stuck without them. You're supposed to be the one who presents them, not the one stuck without them. And if you stay out here by yourself long enough, you start to realize you don't have the options you thought you did or wish you did. Next thing you know, you start becoming transactional, commercially transactional. Now you start approaching folks with your wallet. Let's be clear. Does anybody think that Jennifer Lopez would have gave Ben Affleck the time of day if Ben Affleck wasn't still a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood today? Do you think she would? Do you think she got back with him because of nostalgia? Does anybody think that Jennifer Lopez got back with Ben because of nostalgia? Because she'd been thinking about him for 20 years. Does anyone think that she'd been carrying a candle for him for 20 years? Does anyone think that she's been sitting around all this damn time talking about, damn, I messed up. It shouldn't have been Diddy. It shouldn't have been A-Rod. It shouldn't have been Mark Anthony. It should have been Ben. Does anyone think that's what she was doing? That's why I was able to call it with them. By the way, is there anybody who thinks that Nelly and Ashanti are going to end any differently? What? I'm not wishing ill on anybody. But by the way, there's a whole bunch of candy-coated jackasses out there argue. They were arguing. You can go back in the comment section of those videos and look and see. Sitting up here telling us, well, don't worry, Nelly and Ashanti will be different. You do understand that, don't you? There's a bunch of folk who are arguing with me today, telling me they'll be different. Every time you turn around, I did not say that Nelly can't date Ashanti. I did not say he can't sleep with her. I think it's foolish as hell to marry her and damn sure foolish to have a kid with her. What are you doing, man? Fellows who get desperate, they make themselves disposable. They make themselves disposable. I called it before they even got married. I didn't need him to get caught with any pills. I called it before then. I've been calling it since day one. Not because I'm negative, not because I'm cynical, not because I'm pessimistic. It's because I can count. It's because I can count. And if you find yourself in this position, if you find yourself in this situation, if you find yourself falling for some of these things that are intended to pull wool over your eyes, and most men today, they see what they want to see. They believe what they want to believe. They grab what they want to grab. They go for the path of least resistance. They really do want to believe. Let me tell you another warning sign here, fellas. Females approaching you. What? Got to be careful. I don't mean approaching you in a subtle way. If a female's approaching you in a subtle way and it's clear that she's got options, I'm talking about desirable options, that's one thing. And when you got a Jennifer Lopez, hey boo, who is this? It's J-Lo. Oh, hey, Jennifer. Fellas, when they get older, they pushing up on you. Oh, okay, you must have ran out of options. Oh boy didn't call you back. Okay. In the chat room, Rary, I'm not saying you can't do that. What I'm saying is you need to be careful because here's what happens. Ladies, I got to talk about y'all's sexual sorcery here for just a moment. We're not going to stay in the cauldron for too long tonight, but I got to talk about the sexual sorcery. Women know that when they wrap their legs around a man, men get confused. Literally, when men have sex, fellas, when men are having sex, we release all kinds of chemicals biologically that are specifically created to override rationality and reason. That's what nature does. You're supposed to be smart enough to understand that and take precautions. You're not supposed to act like a dog. But by the way, biologically, sex turns off rationality and reason. It bypasses those. Desire and passion are not logical. They're biological, not logical. And women understand that if they wrap their legs around you long enough, most men, it turns off their thinking. I've taught you all this for years. Women understand this. A woman knows that if she continues having sex with you long enough, there's a good chance that it will turn off your logic and reasoning. And you'll eventually start feeling whenever you see her and stop thinking. Women understand this. It's a dirty ass game, but those are the rules they play by, is get him to feel this. I want him to feel things. I want him to feel emotions. I don't want him thinking. Because if the man thinks, then he's going to start quantitatively and qualitatively calculating your value versus what he actually wants versus what else he can get. In the chat room, V Savage, sex makes men weak. It doesn't do folks any good to try to argue against facts. Facts are not something you can debate. Sex makes men weak. We have to level with that. Stop acting stupid. That's how you get caught off guard. Sex makes men weak. But it does. Especially if it's with a female you actually want to be with. Now, if you was some damn alley cat, oh no, we ain't talking about the alley cats. There's an alley cat, she'll do in a pinch. No. Sex with her isn't gonna make you weak. If it's sex with a female you actually desire or actually are open to being with, oh, well, that's different. That makes men weak. Now, you can call it bonding, but the bottom line is he stops trying to be independent and now he starts coming over to where she is. Sex makes men weak. And the longer you have sex with a female you want to be with, the stronger she's going to get at being able to go ahead and pull you in. It doesn't do men any good to deny reality, because once you start denying it, then that makes you're the most vulnerable person in the room. The fella who is in a vulnerable position and doesn't realize he's the most vulnerable, weak person in the room. The person who understands that this is a hazard, well, he's going to be able to take precautions. If a man is already aware and cognizant and can anticipate what's going on, well, that man can make different decisions, not the others. The others are going to sit there and get played while they tell themselves, ain't nobody going to play me. But a fellow who understands, sex does things like that and whatnot, well, that's the guy who's going to be able to hold his square. Not the ones trying to tell themselves that they're invincible. Not the ones trying to tell themselves that would never be me. Not the ones telling themselves that. Every man in here has a story about something he told himself that would never be me, and it ended up being him. That's not mature or sensible. What's mature and sensible is understanding where your weaknesses are so you can be on guard against them being exploited. Rather than trying to lie and say you don't have them. Yeah, you do have them. And that's okay. Because a man needs to be able to lower his defenses. He needs to be able to do that in the event that he does find a female who is suitable. Well, she can't be left out there like that. But it comes down to being able to determine what's suitable and what isn't. Not based on what you feel. And that can be hard. I've also found that money makes men weak. What? Oh, but it does. Money makes men weak. When a man thinks that he has conquered his money issues, that's when he's at his most vulnerable. A man who's out here got to dig and grind and got to work to get it, that guy's going to be on his guard. He's going to be watching the types of females around him. The fellas for whom money is a given, life begins to lose its meaning, and then all of a sudden his existence becomes consumed with wine, woman, and song because he no longer has to compete to produce financially. And that makes him weak. Yes, I covered that with Marcus Jordan. That makes a man weak. When a man has to struggle, when a man has to work, when a man has to fight, when a man has to scrape, when he's got to be in competition on his guard, that's what keeps him sharp. That's what keeps him stiff-arming things that could do him in. When a man is allowed to no longer compete and be complacent and feel like things are going to be a given, that's when you find a J-Lo come slithering back up to you because he feels like, well, I don't have to protect my money anymore. I have to protect my heart, but I don't have to protect my money. And that's when you end up getting in a relationship like this and you get married like this and then you get took. Let's go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. I think I've got Miko here on Zoom. We're going to see. All right, there you are, Miko. Waiting for her audio to come on here. All right, Miko, tell me why in the world you look like one of Bin Laden's upset wives. Why are you... Baby, your audio is not on just yet. Check your audio, ma'am. Don't worry, I'm not gonna put you on the screen just yet here, but boy, she looking like she got the turbines on, but it can't hear. I don't know why she thinks she can be heard. You cannot be heard just yet. Oh, when you divorced Bin Laden, you should have gotten the thing there. You should have gotten his internet service while you were at it. I think they called it Terabell. Not South Central Bell, not New York Bell, but Terabell. She was gonna sit up here and brag for a minute about how straight her money was and how straight the bag was. She's like, she got stuck on the iPhone with that newfangled technology. If you got earphones on, you need to take those out. That's probably what's causing that. I don't know if she does or doesn't. Or she's trying to do this on a laptop. Yeah, because I can see her, but I can see her, but I can't hear her. So if she's on a laptop, she's doing her audio wrong. Nope, she doesn't have any earphones on. This newfangled technology got her caught up. Miko, I'll tell you what I want you to do. Because I'm gonna talk to Miko tonight. Miko, go ahead and just email me your phone number. Go ahead and just email me your phone number at handlethebusiness@yahoo.com. Just email me your phone number since you can't get your Zoom working properly or whatever. She should have used her cell phone instead. But go ahead and just email me your phone number. We'll give you a call. While she's doing that, let me go ahead and see if I can get my man Prince up here on the line. He's the only person who'll never have problems like that except when you do.
Turn up the volume.
All right, Prince, what's on your mind, brother?
Okay, hey, how's it going, brother? Hey, yeah, man, I've been out of town. I was up there in Arkansas, man. So that internet wasn't worth the quarter up there. So how you been doing? So Jason, you said something that I was writing down when you said it about precautions, and that's what I want to ask you about. Let me see if I got it here. What precautions should a man take with a woman that makes him weak? Whether it's a presence or sexual interactions.
Okay, the first precaution that a man needs to take is recognizing when he's not in control versus when he actually is. The biggest deception that gets played on men is when you need to know the difference between when you're actually in control and when a woman's just making you feel like you are. That's the biggest deception that I see men fall for. He's not actually in control. He just thinks he is. Well, Jason, how do you know you're in control? It's not about telling her what to do and she does it. That's too easy to fake. There are certain things that cannot be faked. Time can't be faked. Denying the kinfolks and everything can't be faked. Rearranging her life can't be faked. That can't be faked. So those are things that you should be watching for. What tends to happen is men tend to run into situations where they get barriers put up in front of them. They get rules and regulations, and then they just sit there with it. And can't tell that, by the way, you're not running anything. You're not running anything. And it's not about putting her in bad situations or anything like that, but you're supposed to be comparing her actively because she's damn sure comparing you.
Right.
As men, what I'm saying is that as men, we've been conditioned to be in situations where we're mentally and emotionally abused, and we're told that that's okay to do. So women are allowed to test men. As a matter of fact, they're encouraged to test men. They're encouraged to put men in all kinds of difficult situations. He needs to figure it out. But the men are told you don't do that. And what I'm saying is that's wrong. You're supposed to exactly do that. You're not supposed to give to any greater extent than you've received. If she's willing to give you 20%, you give her 20%.
Exactly.
If she's going to give you 50, you give her 50. If she's going to give you 80, you give her 80. If she gives you everything, you should be prepared to give everything.
Right.
Now, that's the only difference I would make is that if you are with a female who's willing to give everything, be careful with that one. I have a saying that I use, take care of your fools. There's not a lot of folk in this world who are willing to be a fool for you. So if you do meet one who is, take care of your fools. Don't abuse them. If you meet it, because sometimes you meet a chick, it's like, okay, she ain't really the right one for you, but damn, she is endlessly loyal to you. Okay, you don't have to keep her, you don't have to marry her, but take care of her. Take care of your fools. Don't mistreat her. You're gonna have to put her down at some point. Be as nice as you can about it, but don't mishandle your fools. If you got to find somebody who's gonna be a fool for you, treat them a certain way. Now, those are ones I feel differently about. If she gives you 100%, even if you're not willing to give her 100%, either act like you do or don't fool with her at all. But don't take somebody who's going to give you 100% and you give them 50.
True. Now, Jason, that's the thing. There's some women that she may not be a fool for. Just a certain woman I've known, but we just missed paths. You know what I'm saying? Meaning she was going one direction and I was going another direction. And I have a policy: if it don't hit the first time through, I don't do second chances. But I'm cool with her. I have a lot of respect for her as a woman. She's a really good woman. But that's just the way I operate. Now, when you're dealing with these women, and this is a really important point that you make, it's like Bonnie and Clyde, Jason. It's like you can't find women like that. That's why a lot of people just think it was about the criminal aspect of it. But she was willing to sleep next to creeks with him, ride or die. You know what I'm saying? Jacqueline Kennedy. She got on the back of that limousine that they riding in.
While bullets are flying.
While they're flying, scraping his brains up, trying to put them back in his head. Now, I don't know where you could. Man, now that's the type of commitment and love you need, but women don't even want to be inconvenienced. You understand? They'll say they don't want no drama, but they bring in the drama. You brought up an interesting point. I was at Costco a little bit earlier, and I guess this young lady wanted my attention. I just was at the register talking to some other the register people, making them laugh. This young lady hit me with the basket. It wasn't hard. But I turned around and she was smiling and trying to giggle a little bit. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I say, "That's not polite to do that." She was shocked. I don't know if socially these young ladies don't know how to interact. Some do, but I don't understand that. I don't see somebody hitting me with a basket as flirtatious. You understand?
No, call Morris Bart. I mean, like I say, big clumsy hoes. That's all I can figure there, Prince.
Yeah. And Jason, the thing is, and dealing with what you call like the pension pimping, man, these guys, they don't know how to talk and socialize with a woman. And I was at HEB before I left and went to Arkansas, and the young ladies were talking, and one was picking on the other. I said, "What are you picking on her about?" Right? And so she was saying, "Oh, it was about a love movie or something they watched." I said, "As long as it had nothing to do with vampires." And they say, "Why?" Because I say, vampires fall in love. We used to deal with the ones that just bite. And they laughing, and this old nigga sitting in another aisle, couldn't even pay for his food, watching me interact with these young ladies. That's what you're supposed to do. You got to be able to communicate, talk to people. If you want a friend, you got to show yourself to be friendly. If you don't have the ability to interact with women other than leading with your wallet.
Well, that's the problem, is that the problem with pension pimping, the problem with, affluent ass kissing is that men, when they start leaning on money, what I found is that it's usually because it's come after a certain amount of time and they feel entitled. That's the bottom line. They feel like, hey, I've been out here for 20, 30 years and these hoes done put me through the ringer. And I finally got to a stable financial position after 4, 5 decades. They didn't get it young. And once they finally get to that point, they start feeling entitled. They start feeling like the women owe them something. So then they go looking. Yeah, I mean, they let's just keep it real. Fellas, if money comes too easy to a male, especially once he gets to a certain age, they feel entitled. They feel that the world owes him the kind of relationship he wants, that the world owes that to him. And so now he's looking for a female who will fulfill his expectations, fulfill his fantasy. She gonna make it easy. So she sees he's got something, so he's easy pickings is what he is. So she's like, okay, let me go ahead and get up in here, and once I get this ring on him, then I'm going to separate him from his resources because he's too damn eager, and he's entitled as hell. But if y'all think about it for a few moments here, the pension pimps and the ball players or the older athletes and whatnot, if you think about it for a moment, they really strike you as entitled.
Yes.
They feel like they're owed something, but they don't really have the stamina to get out here and, weigh their options and be patient or whatever. They want it all. They want it now. And everybody can see how easy you are.
That's how they get caught up. Look, when I was at the Marriott down there, when I was traveling with me and my family, they don't, for some reason at that one, they didn't have breakfast that you just continental, like breakfast for free. You had to pay for it. So I went up to the area that morning, asking the young lady she was young, probably in about 23, 24, an attractive young Hispanic girl. And so first she was acting like she was doing something else. So I waited. She came up and I said, yes, I want to ask about breakfast. Well, breakfast here, you have to pay for it. I said, okay. I just asked for the menu because I wasn't going to be rude. Looked at it. I wasn't going to give nothing. I left and came back. When I came back, I was talking to the women at the counter where you check in a hotel. She was over there and I had them talking, laughing, having fun. And she was just shocked trying to see what was going on. Yeah, the kind of energy you bring. See, guys, you got to teach these young women how to behave and conduct themselves. I was showing her that she didn't deserve that type of attention because she was just trying to make it basically off her looks. But she was over there like a deer in headlights. But when y'all leading with your money, you are rewarding screwed up behavior, just like Ben Affleck. And Jason, you make a clear point. You make a very clear point that just because she makes more money don't mean anything. A woman expects a man to take care of him. Is that true, Jason?
Biologically, they're wired for it because a woman cannot submit to a man who is her equal. That's just the bottom line. Think about this here for a few moments. If your woman can pick up 20 pounds and the most that you could pick up is 20 pounds, tell me, how does she submit to you? She already sees you. She doesn't see you as her equal. Understand that, Prince. You get that. If the most your woman could pick up is 40 pounds and the most that you could pick up is 40 pounds, that doesn't mean the woman sees you as her equal. She sees you as her subordinate.
Exactly.
A woman, you had to be able to pick up twice as much as she can for her to see you as her equal. And you got to be able to pick up 4 times as much as her for her to look up to you. But a woman does not see a man as her equal in that manner. So that one doesn't work for you either. I'm just talking about in raw terms. So no, she assumes you can do better than her. She assumes it. And if you can't, you've given her nothing to submit to. Women don't submit to a man's personality. That's the biggest lie that floats around out there. And fellas, there's a whole bunch of jackasses right now married to a whole bunch of deceitful, exploitative females who got him believing that despite her sexual rap sheet, that he's lucky because, those other guys, they had swag and I was just young and stupid, but you've got personality. As if that means a damn thing, because she knows that's the only thing she can say to you, because how do you measure personality? How do you measure that one man's personality is, quote, better than another, more valuable than another? That's a word that doesn't mean anything. Not in that context, it doesn't. So they're saying it because she knows that's something you can wrap your head around. And in the meantime, you'll give away the farm because you're desperate enough. But the bottom line is, when you start getting desperate, you start buying things. And you start trying to buy things because the truth is you want it to be easy. You're old, you're worn out, you've been put through the ringer, you ain't got no fight in you. It's time to go compete in the arena again, and you ain't got it in you. And she sees you ain't got it in you. And all you're going to do is just be left sitting for somebody to pluck you off. That's all that's going to happen. And it happens all the time.
So you're saying that Ben Affleck did not have to marry her. He could have just dated her and that'd have been good enough.
Take a look at the results.
Exactly.
It ended up exactly where I said it was going to end up at, because this is the only place it could end up at, because there was nothing you saw in her 2 decades later that you didn't see before, except now she's more of it. Think about that for a few moments, Prince. It's been 2 decades since y'all toured together. You do realize that that's made her more of what she already is. That includes all the things you didn't like about her 20 years ago. Now she's 20 years more of that. She's not 20 years less. She's 20 years more. Now, of course, her first goal is to convince you that she's 20 years less. You're supposed to be smarter than that. Now, if you're not, get ready to get took. Get ready to get took. There's a never-ending parade ready to grab you. I'll let you have the last word.
So yes, Jason. So one thing I want to say, that companion word, I don't follow that. If I want a companion, I get a dog.
Well, as a man, you need to understand what that means, though. There's nothing wrong with having a companion, but you need to understand how to have a companion that you're not married to. If you're with, you should never be sit up here trying to get somebody so you're not alone.
Yes. And that needs to be, you need to make that, you need to communicate that, not just verbally, but non-verbally, particularly, to let the women know you're not desperate.
You just need to communicate to yourself. That needs to be something that the woman doesn't need to hear that. You need to know that. You need to be aware that, hey, I'm not going to get with anybody simply so I'm not alone. First of all, you should always be able to be in your own company as a man, because that makes us better men. It cracks women's psyches, but it makes us better men. But furthermore, the other issue is you're not dealing with it from a position of strength. But implicit in the argument that you are alone, implicit in that is that there isn't anybody who wants to be with you.
Right.
That's the problem with when you give in to that kind of thing. I want somebody so I'm not alone. You know, I was trying to tell cats about that and whatnot years ago when there were other folk out there telling you that you needed to be watching out for somebody who can go take you to your medical appointments. Man, you better go call an Uber and get to your medical appointments. You don't keep a woman around for that purpose, that reason. That's a nice extra, but you don't keep a woman around for that reason. She's supposed to be around to enhance your life, not to be life support.
Not life support. Now, Jason, I want to ask you this last question. What are some of the red flags that you can tell a woman is not a ride or die? You can tell that she's, what type of test should men do, or how could they quantify, see, what are some of the cues? You said that, she doesn't make sacrifices. She's not willing to take a bullet for you. What are some of the things that a young man could do?
Okay, let's be clear about something. Every female on the planet is a ride or die chick. What? Every female on the planet is a ride or die chick. The only question is, will she ride or die for you?
There you go.
That's where men get confused. Because you can understand it. In most cases, you can see it in her. You start deceiving yourself and believing she would do it for you. And I don't know if she will or won't. I know she will. I just don't know if she'll do it for you. And that's where men get caught up at. First order of business as a man is you do your damn due. First of all, give yourself life experiences.
Yes, sir.
We're taught today, fellas out here are so damn incel, so damn beta, raised by too many single moms, and they become this weak caricature of a kid, grown ass men acting like teenagers, dressing like teenagers. Your life hasn't evolved and changed. You need to have a wealth of experiences with a wealth of different females so that you can see everything that's out there so that you can get your mental repertoire up to par. The females you're dealing with already been with a dozen dudes by the time she meets you. If you're in your early 20s, you have little to no experience with females. You're still on the job training. Once you get out of that learning curve, now you can actually see women for what they are, not what you fantasize about them being, not what you tell yourself it is, but what you can actually realistically expect. That's the best way to deal with it for yourself to begin with. Second thing is, you are going to need to make sure that you do your due diligence. Due diligence is you ask her about where she's been. You start questioning her because the truth of the matter is that most men don't know the woman they're with because they don't ask. And they don't ask because they don't want to know. Most men don't ask the female they're with about her damn body count. He doesn't want to know. So, okay, that's what I mean by you're being willfully ignorant. You haven't asked her that. You're being willfully ignorant. Willfully. Just understand that's going to come back to bite you. That is going to come back to bite you because what you don't know, you can't defend against. That's the problem. You do yourself no favors being willfully ignorant. I'm a firm believer. Let's get this conversation out the way early. I'm not going to be in a relationship with you for 2 or 3 years and then find out you was with 50 niggas. No, we're going to be talking for 2 or 3 days before I find that out. Let's just get this out of the way now. There's some awkward talk we need to have here. Let's just get this out the way now so we can move on to some other stuff. But we're going to get this out the way. That's your due diligence. Find out who it was. Fellas don't want to find out the kind of guys that a chick used to be with because you want to tell yourself they don't matter. That's stupid as hell.
Always matter.
The men your woman been with, they damn sure matter. Every single one of those fellas matters. If she was dating a pedophile, what? You need to know that.
Hello.
I don't want to know who she was with. Would you want to know if she was dating a pedophile? Would you want to know that? Was she with him for 5 years? Would you want to know that? Or is that something that is that irrelevant and doesn't matter? Come on now. Oh, Jason got too damn real with folks here tonight. Yeah, I don't need to know all that stuff. Oh, really? Jason hits you with something you can't ignore now. Oh, you don't need to know that one?
My Lord.
You don't need to know that one?
Yeah, but Jason.
You don't need to know whether or not she ever slept with her cousin?
Damn.
Oh, you don't need to know that. Oh, that one doesn't matter either. You don't need to know.
And threesomes.
Okay. I'm just saying, I'm getting grimy with it because I'm like, by the way, this is real life. This happens. So you don't need to know that. You don't need to know any of that. Okay. You don't need to know if she used to date a murderer. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know that she used to date a crackhead. Oh, that doesn't matter either. One of Diddy's boyfriends from the Freak Off. You don't need to know. Oh, you don't need to know that.
Sugar daddy.
You're so desperate to have somebody that you sitting up here taking anything. Mm-hmm. And you're willfully ignorant because you're afraid that you're going to have to hear something that will disqualify you. So many fellas are so desperate to be with somebody that they start tuning out anything because he's like, that's what I mean. When you're sexual scavengers, you're constantly in a sexual drought. Everything's, I need somebody. He's just desperate, crazed with it. He's insane with it. And then when something does give him the time of day, he starts being willfully ignorant. And I'm just saying, okay, a man cannot afford to let his defenses down. Your job is to do your due diligence, put her through the coals, put her through her paces, crap test her. You need to do your due diligence because a man is at his most vulnerable when he is asleep.
Yes.
Fellas, I want y'all to understand something. A man is at his most vulnerable when he is asleep. The woman who is next to you, in bed, you realize that's the most vulnerable circumstance you're in right now. You understand that? Let's stop playing games with ourselves here. Dude, you're unconscious around this woman.
Yes.
You wouldn't be unconscious around your male best friends. You're unconscious all day or all night around this woman here. She's going through your wallet. She's going through your drawers. She's going through your cabinets. She's going through your laptop. She's going through your cell phone, and you are unconscious. You all need to actually go investigate how sleep works. Most people don't understand how sleep works. Sleep is not actually an unconscious state. It's actually a semi-conscious state. So for those of you who did not know, sleep is not truly an unconscious state. It's a semi-conscious state, which is why loud noises can wake you up. Or once you get accustomed to being in bed with somebody, them stirring or moving doesn't wake you.
Now, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, that's because you're not truly unconscious. You're semi-conscious. So this person, this woman, her rolling around, moving, reaching over you will not wake you. Somebody else make a noise in the house and you get up. That's vulnerability. She has brought you into a state of ultimate vulnerability. You damn well better know who you sleeping next to. You need to know all of that. You need to know who she been with, where they been, how many times, what he done did, what he done bought, where they was at. You need to know everything, because the woman you're with is the culmination of all the men she been with.
Exactly.
And she's bringing baggage from each of them or all of them. And that's what you're dealing with. You can't afford to be willfully ignorant. A silly man sits up there and does that. You can't afford to do that. You're dealing with everything she brings with her. So if she was okay sleeping with Pookie and Ray Ray and Lil Slug, just remember there's still some Pookie and Ray Ray and Lil Slug in her.
And look, they need to know their names, because she'll try to name your child after them.
Oh man, dudes don't know that. Dudes, there's you, Prince. You and me both know, but you just dropped a bomb on them with that right there. They don't understand that, and I've covered that before. There's fellas out here right now. Y'all got kids and she done volunteered a name. Have you asked about her damn exes?
My Lord.
That nigga wouldn't have the kid whether you would. Next thing you know, you got your kid. Well, this is Sam Pookie Brown. Okay.
My Lord.
Pookie, well, that's a weird ass middle name. Well, it was her idea. She said she always wanted a baby named Pookie. Okay.
But Jason, what if they say they don't want to embarrass her? They don't want to shame her.
Man, look, okay, well, you're going to be hella embarrassed when she gets done doing it. Because when females get ready to cut you off, she doesn't care how it hurts. When she's done, she done. What my man Finesse 2 Times say, when the hoe ready to go, the hoe ready to go. And when she's ready to cut out, it's like, oh, this is going to train wreck everything you got going. Yeah, that's the way that works. And you can accept it or you cannot accept it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Okay, we're gonna try Miko again here. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. All right, Miko, let's see if you got your life together. Cross your fingers, everyone. She might have it together, then again, she might not. We'll see if her Bin Laden broadband is ready over there. Okay, it says she didn't connect her audio. We'll see if that works. She didn't connect her audio, it said. We'll see if she did or didn't. You can try speaking, Miko. It said you didn't connect it. We'll see. Hell no, this heifer is not ready. What in the world jankiness does she have going on? I don't get it. Check your microphone, Miko. We need somebody over there. We need somebody to go over to her house and go get her whole life straightened out for her with this newfangled technology. Okay, it finally says she connected it. Say something, heifer.
Don't be calling me no heifer. Today my birthday. I got my notes.
Oh, happy birthday to you there. I'm not going to ask you how old you are. Somebody bought you some pearls,
49.
Though. Okay, what'd she say? Oh, she been through it, y'all. This is it.
Yeah.
Oh, she been through it.
But I'm going to be good.
Oh.
That's why I listen to you, because you on some good stuff.
Oh, she a nurse too? Oh, boy. Oh, she rough, rugged, and raw.
Oh, God.
Oh, you know it. How many tattoos you got, baby?
Come on now, Jason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Auntie, chill.
7.
Just 7?
Just 7.
Just 7. All right. Well, of course. Certainly. Just 7. All right. I can go with that. And the nose ring, baby. Oh, we got the septum ring too. What are we doing?
Yeah, I just got this last year. I guess I'll
just last year at 48. She trying to get a freak on at 48?
No, sir.
What she said? I got the tattoos. I might as well go ahead and get the nose ring too. I might as well get the septum ring too. All right. Well, she said, let me YOLO. Let me hurry up and do this. Well, she said, I ain't getting no younger. I don't want to be 49 with one. All right. Well.
Look, I'm here to be educated, not be, dogged out. But
I was educating now right now, ma'am. Okay, look y'all caramel colored chicks better watch out now. Don't get sassy. I'm not like them fellas up north now. Just because you caramel colored don't mean you can just talk in the old kind of way now.
Yes, sir.
First of all, why are you not at work tonight? That's the first question.
Oh, I took tonight off. I'm on a travel assignment out here in Fresno. So, they had me working last night. They threw me a nice little birthday party. But I don't work on my birthdays.
Y'all, she's a travel nurse.
Yeah.
It's her birthday. Y'all know it's going to be the freak off, freak in, freak out.
No, hey, I'm in this extended stay. I call her the ward off Astoria alone.
Oh, she done got her own room there too, so she can sneak niggas in and out. Baby, I ain't mad at you.
Paying for it. Come on now.
And the company paying for it. She like, oh, she can go down to the strip and that's it. She be down there at the bar. Come on, nigga. I got a room. You ain't got to pay for nothing. She walking back there with the killer and everything. It's just all right. She didn't even ask him. She didn't even ask him what his wife thinks. She didn't even ask him what his wife thinks. She's like, well, you can call her when you get back. Tell her I'm borrowing you for a minute. All right, Miko. You wanted to ask me something.
Yeah, I was wondering, I believe I have a clue because I'm a labor and delivery nurse. I've been doing it for 17 years. And I know at the age of 35, a woman is considered elderly gravida. As soon as you hit that 35 mark, your eggs are like old lady. But why are men not in the discount bin?
Well, I mean, men can be in the discount bin, but it is not the same one or for the same reasons as females are. All right, let's go ahead and deal with that thing you just said there. And let's deal with this logically, first of all. First of all, what makes a woman valuable to men is not what makes a man valuable to women. So the reproductive argument doesn't have the same weight with men that it does with women. There's no logical, sensible reason for a man to marry a woman he's not going to have children with. You can do it because you're insecure. You can do it because you're a dumbass who let her put you over the 8 ball, but that's not a logical reason. It's logical if you're going to have children with her because we're merging bloodlines. You want to legitimize your children. You want to make sure that their legal status is recognized whether you're alive or not. That's the reason for legitimizing the children, so that even in the event that you die, the state will say, hey, his lands and titles go to these children. These are his legitimate heirs. Them little bastards over there he had with that chick across town, and they gotta get in where they fit in. But the woman he married, these are his legitimate heirs because he went through a lot of trouble to claim this woman and these children. And even if he dies, we, the state, recognize these children as the heirs of his lands and his titles.
So can I tell you something, Jason? My father has 9 children. I am the only one conceived in marriage. So, and I'm not even the oldest. So that's true. That's true. And his side of the family rave on that. I was conceived in marriage, 1975, August 23rd. I was born.
Well, like I said,
he was married to my mother.
I won't say anything disparaging about the other 8, but I will say certainly it means something. If a man is married to a woman, we recognize that means something, because the reason why there is a liability element to marriage and children is because it means something. There needs to be a cost to it. The problem is that we've told the women that there's no cost to it, which is why the men have backed out. So it needs to be equal in that regard, where men have a responsibility. The women need to have that reinserted, because now we got things horrifically out of balance, and now it doesn't work anymore. But first of all, the reproductive argument doesn't work for women the way it does for men, because you only have a 20-year window where you're viable for reproduction. As men, we're viable for the entirety of our lives.
Right.
So long as sexual activity is not going to kill us. And then again, if you want to go artificial, I guess you can. But even the invention didn't have that. Throughout history, you've always had men who were significantly older, who had wives who were significantly younger. That's been throughout history. So that's never been the issue for us. So that's a woman's burden. It's not a man's burden. We have different ones. So women's eggs and whatnot hurting her viability, 35. We don't have that issue. We have other issues.
35.
Actually, the issues start before then.
Okay.
The issues actually start before then, because remember, what you consider to be a peak value man is not what we consider to be a peak value female. That's a woman hits her peak in her mid-20s.
Yes.
Don't go with that. Some would say the earlier 20s, but she's at least going to be in the mid-20s. From there, it either plateaus before going down or it goes straight down. Certainly by the time she gets to 28, it's already declining. That's what makes her peak valuable as a woman. Youthfulness, which of course tells you what her genetic viability is going to be, but not just genetic viability. This is the critical key part. These other people did not teach folk this, and I've been trying now for decades. The things that make a woman most valuable are going to be her coachability is key to that.
Yes.
Key to what makes a woman most valuable is her coachability. If she doesn't have coachability in the bank, it doesn't work. That's the problem.
Can I testify to that?
Now,
my daddy was a Rolling Stone. Like I told you, he got 9 kids. One he don't claim, but he looked just like us. But he always told me, he said, Miko, you can't do what a man do and still call yourself a woman. And my hard-head ass used to say, watch me. And boy, was he right.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the issue here. As a man, we have to be clear, though, because your father is your first male role model in your life.
Yes.
And what people need to understand is that your children will follow your example, not your advice. And if dad is out here running around with a bunch of chicks, he's telling his daughter that this is how you treat women. And that's okay. We turned out all right. And in reality, they didn't turn out all right. They might be comfortable with it, but they didn't turn out all right. So he made a grievous error in that response, because that's the example he was showing you. Well, don't be surprised when she starts emulating that. Only she will not be able to expect the results that you would expect, is the problem. So biologically, the discount bin for us is different. Socially, it's going to be different, because a female is coachable when she's younger. It's not just that she's better for having children. She's more genetically viable. She's more socially viable. When a female is, let's just say she's in her early 20s, okay, then she hasn't had 10 dudes laying on top of her. 10 different relationships, 10 different heartbreaks, 10 different run through the ringers, 10 different freak offs. What? She hasn't have all this baggage. So it's a lot easier for you to imprint on her when she's only been with 1 or 2 guys than trying to imprint on her after her 10th or 12th or 20th, or God forbid 30th or 40th, where you just don't have a prayer now of making an impression on her, because her emotional nerves have been rubbed raw, figuratively and literally. So you see, a younger female has value in that way. The things that are important to us, the things that made you, for example, when you were in your 20s, I don't know how great of a mate you were then or weren't. Let's just assume you were great for somebody. But here's the problem. The things that made you great for Mike over there are not the things that make you great for me.
Right.
They might not, the things that he liked might not, or the float of his boat might not necessarily be the things that are best for me. Now you're with a new man and you need to have a new skill set, but you're coming to it with Mike's skill set, or the things that thrill Mike. And that now it doesn't translate over here. Now we got to start all over. That's easier when you're with a younger female who has not had to accommodate 5 or 6 or 10 men's programs already. And she's taken a little bit from each of them, or a lot of bit from 1 or 2 of them.
Right.
And coming to you, the 10th or 12th man, with a little bit from the previous dozen, or a lot from 2 of them, and a little bit from the other 10. Do you realize how heavy that is to try to move and try to get around? No wonder you can't coach her. Because she's already been trained by other people to be appropriate for them. Now, this isn't a problem for you as a female because you're not looking to train a man. You're trying to choose him because you expect him to already know.
Right.
So you see the things that will put you in the discount bin being handled by too many people. Right. That, for a man to be in the discount bin, it would be a man who hasn't had any experience handling anything.
Right.
Now, you being at 49 years old, the thing that's the biggest turnoff for you is a man who's 49 and doesn't know what he's going to do, doesn't have his life together, has no direction. In other words, he's 49 years old, acting and behaving like a 19-year-old. He's 49 and still doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. 49, not moving in any solid direction. 49, he's not a man you can look up to. That's the discount bin for men.
Okay.
So if you're looking at it through a male lens and trying to say, okay, what's the male equivalent based on the female dynamics, you'll get misled because the things that put you in the discount bin are not the ones that put us in one. There is a time clock for both of us. Your time clock is biological and social. Our time clock is socioeconomic and competence. Mm-hmm. We can pick. Now, here's the thing. We have an advantage. When we become competent men, that can last us the rest of our lives. Mm-hmm. So what makes you valuable as a female hits a peak in your 20s and then starts to go down after that. As men, technically speaking, there is no upper limit to how much more valuable we can become. We can always become smarter. We can always become more competent. We can always become richer. You notice I mentioned that one third, not first or second. Did you notice I mentioned money third, not first or second? Those other attributes, the kind of things that, because as a woman, what you really want is a man who's looked up to by other men. What?
Right.
Not other females, that should be a given. But by the way, the thing you really look for is this a man who commands other men? He's looked up to by other men. Well, you want that guy. It's like, yeah, I see the rest of y'all standing around. Yeah. Nice heterosexual fellows and everything, but by the way, there's one fellow who stands out above the rest of you. How does he stand out? He doesn't just stand out because he's taller. If you see that the other men respond to him in a submissive way, I don't mean submissive like females and whatnot, but that he's a commander. Right. Well, females are biologically immediately going to respond to that. Why? Because you recognize that that's an alpha. Yeah, all of y'all are men in a group, but he's commanding. Oh, that's the alpha. He's not just a male. He's the one the rest of you look up to. Well, if you had your preferences, you'd be with him. You've already seen who the best one is. And also implicit in that is if I do take one of you other guys, I have to concede that I have taken the third or fourth or fifth best. I have to accept that right off the bat because I now know, I'm not guessing, I know there's a better option, but I can't have him. How does she feel knowing that she's with the third or fourth or fifth best? How does she feel with that?
Not good at all.
Well, I mean, at best, she will settle. At worst, she will always have a longing or a subtle contempt because she knows what you are. Mm-hmm. You're in the discount bin. Now, some discount bins have steeper discounts than others, but the things that make us discounted are not the things necessarily that make you discounted. Yours begins sooner. We have a longer runway, but yes, men can end up in that. I suppose the easiest metric I would give you is one that you can identify with. He's gotten older. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. He doesn't excel at anything. He's not admired. He's not in any sort of position about that. And you can know this at 49 years old, by the way. Maybe you a nurse, you can go ahead and just be honest about it. There are certain doctors you look up to and certain ones you don't.
That's true. That's true.
The doctors you all look up to, it's not the nice guy. What? Don't get me wrong. Mr. Nice Guy, good bedside manner and whatnot, that's wonderful, that's great, that's everything. But the ones that you admire are the ones who are at the top of their game, the ones who are unshakable under pressure, the ones who are stoic, the ones who are still moving up in their profession no matter how old they are. Those are the ones you admire. Mr. Nice Guy is Mr. Nice Guy. You'd rather have a house. If you ever watched that TV show House.
Yes, I watched that through nursing school.
Yeah. And he can be an ass because it's like, by the way, he can do things the rest of you can't do. Yo, Mr. Nice Guyness has not allowed you to do the things this man can do. This man can work miracles. Yo, nice guyness doesn't. And the poison pill for you is, as a medical professional yourself, you know how hard that is. You have no choice but to respect what House can do. He can do things these other people with their niceness cannot do. These other guys are nice, but they're discounted.
So I'm having a flashback because I started, I graduated in 2006. So I moved to New York, and I started at, I don't know if I can say the hospital name in Manhattan.
You don't have to say the hospital name, but where'd you move from?
I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay, usually it goes in the other direction, but she went to New York to get the bag. So go ahead.
Because they didn't want to hire me at the hospital down here in Florida. But anyway, it was a doctor. He was like real soft spoken, laid back, just cool. I trusted him because when he said go, I knew what he meant. But when a situation, we had a shoulder dystocia, and one of the African nurses wanted to do funder pressure, and everybody know you don't do funder pressure. And when I heard this man's voice go to a high pitch, I knew something wasn't right. And then it was a doctor here in Florida. I'm currently in Fresno, California. In Florida, he thought he was all of that in a bag of chips. He knew his shit, but it was just, he was too arrogant. But I see what you're saying. But see, Dr. C walked in his I hear the word abundance. He knew his shit and he was humble about it. But this other doctor, he knew his stuff, but he was arrogant. He was having sex with the nurses. And that's something I never got into. I carried myself because I was raised by a mother, a woman, so I wasn't told that, a wet coochie and a dry purse don't match. So I understand what you're making sense. But my question is, since I'm in the discount bin and I'm okay over there because I know things I want to do, but how can I help my 26-year-old daughter?
We get that all the time. Well, let me go ahead and address, we get that question all the time. Let me go ahead and address the one thing you just said there, though. Okay, we got the one guy who you say he knows his stuff, but he was humble. We have another one you say he knows his stuff, but he was arrogant. Here's the issue. The issue is if the thing you remember about him most is being arrogant, that's the problem. Our competence and expertise should always be the thing that people remember most. That should always be the thing that comes first. So if that doesn't outweigh it, then he's not competent and excellent enough.
Exactly.
There's the issue. So I don't want us to get confused about that. He might be competent enough to serve at the hospital, but what I'm talking about, when I talk about house level, I'm like, no, this guy is the best of the best. So you see the other stuff that comes with him, that's just the cost of doing business, because the value of what he brings so greatly outweighs everything else that we kind of start wondering in medical school, maybe we need to have how to be an ass class, because this guy is so good. If that's part of his personality with it, maybe the rest of y'all could gain to become a little bit more like that, because your niceness isn't making you more competent. Think about this for I'm talking about the guys most of the doctors I've met who are asses. They tended to be kind of arrogant. Yeah, but it was always because they were learning. They were always competitive. So you see, everything for them was competition. They didn't want to be, just the old doctor. They wanted to be the competent doctor, no matter their age. So that was what they were looking for. Now, for those of you who don't understand the medical profession, what she just brought up was a very interesting thing there. For those of you who haven't worked in the hospital or anything like that, she did bring it up there. Okay, so you get doctors now. What you're trying to tell me is that happened in New York. That's what you're trying to tell me. New York's hospitals are a hoe house. New York's hospitals are a medical whorehouse. They really, really are. They got some world-class medical facilities, but let's just keep it real. New York, I mean, I used to think that television shows like ER or Chicago Hope, I'm like, yeah, there's no way that could be real. Then I stuck around the hospital, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is about real. Yes, y'all might be toning it down, actually, because nobody's having sex in the medical closet yet. I haven't seen that episode. So that's what I'm saying. On TV, they don't show it like that. The worst I've seen is like the backseat of a car. But at the hospitals in real life, I'm talking about if there's a spare ICU room, I'm serious.
Listen, they was having sex in the OR in Florida, St. Petersburg. They had to put cameras in the OR because one of the scrub techs was getting his thing sucked in the stairway in the back with the scrub techs. Hey, it's true. Yeah, they get freaky.
I mean, ma'am, but if everybody's doing it, can we call it freaky anymore? I mean, it's not even a fringe thing anymore. I mean, that's one of the things that just happens. Just period. That's just one of the things that just happens. So everybody, like I say, is the bigger the city, the worse it gets. But New York in particular, that New York medical complex, Florida is its bastard stepchild is what Florida is. So it's between New York and Florida, they're the worst. But New York is at the top of the heap or should I say the bottom of the pile. If you're at a hospital in New York, I'm just like, I hope you're at a good one because medical care, I mean, they're going to see about your kin folks in between freak-offs. That's what's going to happen in New York. The doctors will do the rounds just as soon as they finish doing the nurses. They'll take care of your kin folk as soon as they get finished with the nurses. And it's a free for all in that regard. So yeah, there's a reason why you have so many of these these students, these medical students, they coming from around the world and stuff. A lot of the immigrants ones come over here. Yeah, because it goes down at the hospitals. They love talking about their medical students. Oh, they're getting their internship or their residency or whatever. Yeah, because it's going down. You're not going to be able to tell him nothing. After he has a bit of his residency, once he finishes running the tables with the nurses, you ain't going to tell him nothing. There's a reason why you all can't get a date with those doctors after that. You can't convince him that he doesn't have a bunch of options. Not when he done ran through everything on all 26 floors. Yeah. You're not gonna be able to convince him.
Because everybody trying to come up and they're using what's between their legs or what's holding their mouth closed to get a leg up. I had one doctor in a Southern Cal ask me. He said, "Why you walk so confident?" And I always walk with my shoulders square up, my head held up because that's how I was raised. You treat people how you want to be treated. You look a person square in their eye. That's how my mom taught me, my uncles, my dad. And even in Florida, I got accused of being arrogant and confrontational because I wasn't going for the okie doke. I just, respect is respect. And I used to go to work with my beanie on and my pearls and my hoop earrings or whatever. But these hospitals, I don't call it healthcare, I call it death care. And with being a labor and delivery nurse, Black women are 3 times more likely to die in these labor rooms because of these issues. And when you when I spoke about it, I got fired April the 18th this year. That's why I'm back out in California on a travel assignment. It's crazy.
That is a whole other broadcast. You need to email me your information because I would love to do a program about. I'm going deeper into that. We don't have time to get into that tonight, but I would love to deal with that because that's a whole nother subject in and of itself. But certainly, men can be in the discount bin. We just have a different one. It's usually based on a lack of competence. And the less competent a man is, the less viable he is. For a female, the less peak value and coachability is key to that. The worse it gets. As you all get older, you start getting your own mind. You get set in your ways. You become uncoachable. You're not looking to make your priority conforming to a man's program. You're trying to figure out how to get him to conform to yours because you have a whole bunch of expectations. So as time goes on, not just physically, mentally, socially, the things that made you more valuable in your early 20s, if we could have caught you before you were set in your ways, you're 30 years old, got a job in an apartment or God forbid a house. What's a man going to do with that? So it's just going to be downhill from there. Or you're going to have to try to get real sneaky. Okay, let me convince the guy that I'm something I'm not because I know what they're looking for. Well, I want to get married, but I ain't really trying to be all that he's talking about. So now we start resorting to deceptive tactics to, quote, get what we want. And now if you start having kids, then you become a single mom. Now it becomes treacherous. Now it's with every man, it becomes, I got to get him before he gets me.
Right.
And that's what it really wants to become single moms. It's just everything is like that. She don't trust anybody. So she wants to get in as quick as she can before she gets stuck. All right. You say you have a 26-year-old daughter. What do you tell her? Everything we're telling her right now. The number one thing she can do is all the things that make her valuable. She, at this point right now, what she needs to do is preserve them, enhance them, and preserve them. If, however, she isn't doing that or hasn't done that, it gets worse from here. It gets worse from here because the problem is she may want a man, but the problem is men want something in return.
Right. I'm definitely going to send this to her.
Well, let me find out a couple of things here. Does she have any children?
No children. She's an esthetician. She wants to go back to school to dental hygienist.
How much does she weigh?
Oh, my daughter is she's about 5'6".
Be honest. Be honest.
She is, I'm gonna say about 150. Give or take a few. She's not a fat girl. And when I tell you, Jason, you know, people, she's beautiful. She's everything I asked for. My thing is, I fumbled the ball. I don't want you to fumble the ball. And it's hard because, you know, being a single mother and not having a mother, my mom died when I was 13. Father was a, distant fellow, but I don't want her to go through what I went through. So I try to tell her, baby, do the Heisman Trophy. You see red flags move, but I don't want her to get played. I really don't. But
listen to me. Listen to me. Okay. This is all very, very difficult, and I get it. Okay, because it's hard for y'all to accept. It really, really is. This is why daddy's girls are the worst to deal with, because the things that when mom and dad talk about how beautiful the daughter is, the problem is that don't matter. No disrespect. The reason why it doesn't matter is because you ain't gonna marry her. You're not gonna date her. You're not the person expected to take her off the market. That's the problem. There's the core of it is no matter what you might think, you're not the one who's going to be having to consume this product. You're not the one doing that. So with that being the case, that one would be marginal. Now, here's my first issue. She's 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon she's going to be 28.
Yeah. She's going to be 27 September 6th.
Okay. How long until she gets out of school?
How long she gets out of school? She haven't even started her dental hygienist school yet.
So in other words, she's already been in school up until 26 years old, and she's been in school since she was 5 years old. And so far she's 26 years old, 2 decades later, and ain't done yet.
Nope, all she have is her esthetician.
Okay, but you're saying she's gonna keep going. But you say she's gonna keep going. Okay. So she's not done with school yet.
No, she's not.
Going to be kind of hard for a female who her entire life has been spent in school. Her entire adult life has been spent chasing a career. Where's the place for a man in that equation to be the priority?
Right.
Tell me what habits she's picked up, because the habits she's formed is that school is her priority. Her job is a priority. Where is a man to be the priority in this equation? And if a man attempts to assert himself as the priority, how is she going to react to that at 26 with her so elevated esthetician career? No disrespect, but how is she going to respond when a man does that? And she goes, he's trying to tell me what to do. Yes, because you're not fitting into his program.
Right.
You're fitting into yours. How many tattoos does she have?
1, 2. Damn. 1, 2, 3.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any tramp stamps?
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
Chest tattoo?
No. No. Arm and mid back at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
She got the I'm not gonna say which one it is. She got the starfish tattoo. All right. Well,
starfish, no, not what's the starfish?
We can't go into this. We can't go into this.
Okay.
In any case,
okay.
Yeah, like I say, definitely 26 years old, she got the tats. So far she doesn't have any kids. I'll just assume the abortion clinic was a success. What I will say is how many boyfriends she had?
Well, I know
baby, just give me the number. Just give me the number.
I know of two. I know of two.
Since the age of what?
24.
She's had 2 boyfriends in the last 2 years.
That I know of.
All right. Well, at that pace, there's at least a dozen.
Mm-hmm. And it's highly likely, hell.
By the age of 26, and she's in the medical field with you. I mean, it's not nearly as glamorous as yours, by the way. I get that. But,
well, she's still looking at butt like her mama.
That's fine, but I'm just saying, by the way, just keep that. I'm just keeping that reality in mind there. Now, what state is she in?
I think just hard-headed.
No. I mean, what geographic? What city and state is she in?
Oh, she's back in St. Petersburg, Florida. She just left Columbia, South Carolina. I literally,
now why did she leave? Now why did she leave South Carolina and go back to Florida?
Well, we're originally from Florida. Then when I got a travel assignment in California, she graduated from California in 2016. And then she ended up moving to South Carolina to help my sister because she got injured. And she went to school down there. And then she just came back to St. Petersburg, Florida, because that's where we're originally from. And we just wanted to be close to family because we had been gone since 2007 when we left to move to New York after I graduated from nursing school. Because I went from welfare $2,000 to $60,000, $80,000 a year.
Congratulations, but no, that story doesn't make sense. Where's the guy?
Well, the guys were in South Carolina.
Where's the guy?
That I know of.
Where's the guy now?
South Carolina.
So she's still talking to him.
Just over the phone. I'm assuming, you know what happens when you assume.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so right now there's no one here in St. Pete. She just got home in June.
Uh-huh. No.
I'm being honest with you because I know you know how to read people.
I'm glad you're being honest, but what I am saying is a 26-year-old moves to Florida, they usually try to get as close a proximity to Miami as they can.
And you know what's crazy? We're not Miami type. We just
what?
We can count on our hands how many times we done been down on Miami.
Did she just say we're not Miami types?
Right. We don't go down to Miami like that. We don't go. It's just something about that South Florida. We don't. The last time we've been down there was for my niece's birthday, and she
a 26-year-old female in the Instagram era, and you trying to talk about she don't like Miami?
I'm not saying she don't like Miami, but she hasn't been down there like that.
No, you ain't been down there like that.
That's true, but I'm telling you, she hasn't been down there like that.
This is why we can't have mothers and fathers trying to make these judgments, y'all. They tend to be willfully blind. They kind of see what they want to see. She's literally describing everything. Tattoos, 26 years old, left South Carolina to go back to Florida. She's literally describing that. And, but she wouldn't fool Miami like them. Okay. All right. So.
I could be wrong, but I'm just letting you know that's.
No, she's close enough to Sarasota. That's enough right there.
Yeah, Sarasota.
But I'm sorry. No. She's right there where Tampa is.
Yeah, Tampa. We're right across the Howard Franklin.
Oh,
Tampa.
Yeah, Okay, you weren't.
We on exit 28. You go exit 28. You already on the Howard Franklin Bridge. We can go on Kennedy.
Baby, ASAP Rocky, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe. You sitting right there in Tampa. Tampa hood as hell, but it's trying to get his weight up since Brady brought the title to town.
Right.
I don't even know why you talking like this. I don't know why.
My daughter been gone since she was 10 years old. So she don't know. She's been gone from Florida since she was 10. She's 26 now. She has not been back to Florida except for with me on vacation. And she has, this is her first time back home since 2007.
She moved for a reason.
Right.
She did it for a reason. She's 26 years old. She did that for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Very unlikely it's a career-driven reason. If
Right.
it were, I would expect her to be in Orlando, not in Tampa.
We're close enough to Orlando too, yeah.
Okay, ma'am, you ain't close enough to work in Orlando.
No.
Okay, I would expect her to be in Orlando, not in Tampa. And certainly not on that side of the bay in Tampa. So,
Well, she in St. Pete. We ain't even in Tampa, Jason.
okay, ma'am, is that not Tampa Bay?
It is.
Hey, baby, don't act like I ain't been around. Don't act like I ain't been around, baby. Look here, don't get me started on that. Find somebody who ain't been around enough. Try that on him, not me. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm dealing about. Because for those of you who don't know, if you've never been in those areas, because I'm from the South, I've traveled up and down 10, 75, the Turnpike and all that. That area there, for those of you who haven't, you just visited Disney World and got your mouse ears. Tampa doesn't really have a beach. They think they do, but they don't. Tampa's beaches, that's a toxic waste dump. Usually what happens is people keep going till they get over there to Clearwater. And that's generally what happens over there. Nobody goes to St. Petersburg for anything. So Tampa's got a bay, it just doesn't have a beach. Okay, but here's my point. My point is she's got access to all of that. There's a reason that's going to have an effect, and she's there for a reason.
It could be now because, like I say, she just now getting back home. She's been gone since 2007 when she was 10 years old.
But you asked me what to do with this 26-year-old in modern day Florida. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm just letting you know what the deal is. So as her mom, you kind of got blinders on to things. The rest of us is like, yeah, we're not going to nearly have as much naivete about it. A lot of y'all want to have the best case scenario as opposed to the most realistic case scenario. What I am going to say here is she might still be talking to a dude in South Carolina that just seems a little bit, that would be difficult. And the reason why that would be difficult is because she put as much distance between herself and him as she could.
Thank God.
Okay. Well, obviously it seems like you're nonplussed about it, but she's still talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt he's the only one she's talking to at this point.
I'm in California, so you could be right.
Okay, so you asking me what to do. You ask me what can you tell her? I mean, like I say, right now she's already got the tattoos. I hope she's on some birth control or something. I hope she is at this point right here, because the reason why I'm saying is because all the markers are there. All the usual markers are there. When a female runs around and jumps from one place, she's usually running from something or running to something.
Okay.
And the way you just responded about this guy, obviously there are some things there that you're not very plussed about.
No, not at all.
Okay. So it sounds like she might be in the running from category.
Yes.
Okay. And what I'm saying is that's another experience that will imprint itself on her.
Yes, and it has. That's why I say I'm excited that I'm having this conversation on my birthday, because I'm definitely going to send her this link to her phone so she can listen to it, because I want the best for her. I really want to, and no way for her to hear.
That's nice. That's nice, but the real question is, what does she want for herself? That's the real question.
She wants to be married. She wants to have a family. She wants
to
have.
But what does that mean?
She wants a good life.
She wants to be married. Yeah. Why?
I guess to reproduce and have a legacy.
Okay, but that's not certainly that's the functional reason for it, but that's not the social reason for a female. There's the real issue.
Okay.
Lot of women want the wedding ceremony. They don't want the marriage.
You said that earlier, and that was yeah.
By the way, where is her dad?
Her dad in St. Petersburg, Florida.
So she's got
And
proximity to him.
Yeah, but
He's
not
can't
involved.
wait to hear this one. He's not involved.
Nope, not involved.
Willfully not involved, or ward of the state not involved?
No. He's willfully. That's on his doing. He and we were together when she was born, and
together through matrimony or together at the Motel 6?
No, not through matrimony.
Okay, Motel 6 together.
There was no Motel 6. It was Pinellas Point Apartments.
What she said?
2175.
Yes, I would never get to Motel 6. Okay, but
no motel.
Well, definitely, like I say, I mean,
Come on, Jason.
Hopefully she doesn't take too far after that, although at 26 years old, that's something to keep in mind as well.
Yes.
The reason why I bring all that up is because it's, at this point right now, you cannot raise her.
Right.
The raising part was supposed to be for the first 18 years. We can't raise an adult. We instruct adults. We don't raise them. So right now, at this point right here, she's going to have to learn from her experiences. You cannot raise her. Now, you can advise her, but you cannot raise her at this point. And the only thing I would hope is that she doesn't make any drastic decisions, because if mama didn't see it as necessary to get married before getting pregnant, then the daughter doesn't see it as a life-changing, world-crashing event. And mom desperately needs her to. Yeah, but she spent decades now saying, oh, well, my mama did it. And kids either go one of two ways. Mom did it, not for me, hell no. Or, well, mama did it, and they're being hard-headed and silly. And females tend to do that. So it really depends on what she wants for herself. If she wants the best for herself, then she needs mobility. If she wants to be a good wife, that means not approaching a man with another man's kids.
Right.
And if that's not a principle and a priority that she's already adopted for herself, then that's going to be difficult. I'll also give you something else to think about. By the way, what's on her playlist on her cell phone?
Oh, she likes Sade. She likes the old school music. Okay. But then, you got the new school, but she would definitely play old school before the new school, for sure. For sure. She's definitely a Sade, old school, Isley Brother type fan.
Okay, well, there's no accounting for taste there, so I'll take that into account. That might be a good sign. However, if she got Sade and Sexy Red...
What? No, she don't do Sexy Red.
Sade, Sexy Red, Cardi B, we can go down the list at this point right now. Beyonce is a red flag. So, like I say, those are things to keep in mind. In particular, the fact you're both on opposite ends of the country, that's not much of a factor. She has a father, and the males in her life so far, either she's not really thrilled about him or you're not really thrilled about him. This is a bad precedent to set. She's in the state of Florida. Probably the last place in America I would send any female who wanted to actually get married. If she wants to run a grift or a scam, go straight to Florida. If she's looking for a feasible mate, that's the last place I would name. Quite frankly. If she wants to come up in the medical career, Florida's a great place to be. Far as the relationships and stuff, that's not what people are going to Florida for, particularly the men. That's not what they're going there for. So I'm not going to say it's impossible she's going to hit a headwind.
With all the beaches, she's getting a lot of business at her job, returning clients, selling products. So she's looking to, advance herself with the esthetician thing, because Florida is full of beaches.
And she will.
So, yeah.
And she will definitely do that. But that marriage part, like I say, the men coming there are coming to enjoy themselves. They're coming to explore their options. They're coming for females who are not built the way they are in Mississippi and Louisiana. So that tends to be a difference of what the motive is for these two parties of being there.
Okay.
Even in Tampa, which has now experienced a tremendous renaissance. All the places that used to be, the bastard stepchildren in Florida are now becoming the go-to spots because Miami and Orlando are just flooded and oversaturated. So there will be more people, but the problem is Miami is not a place anymore. Miami is a culture.
Yes.
Miami is a state of mind and a culture. And everyone in Florida today is trying to have their avenue of that culture. Especially the closer to the water you get, they start pretending that they're a fake Miami. So what I'm saying is that's what you're actually up against right there. So the real thing is about what she wants. So if she does listen to this, the most important thing will be about what she wants and what she wants for herself and whether or not she's going to make decisions that give her a lesser life. Permanent decisions at this point would do that. I don't think that she's had enough experiences with men, particularly competent men. I don't know if she's really clear on what competence is.
And that's highly likely because her choices, I don't like them. Because, one thing about mothers, when we're going through our situations and raising children, it's hard to teach them when we need to be taught. And that's where I was. And once I, fell in and bust my big toe, now, like you said, I can't raise her. I can only teach her. And that's what I've been doing. And I just say, hey, this your life, the bed you lay in, that's the one you got to lay in, and your children's children, just like what I did for you. So I'm trying to correct my wrong. That's why I just, it's
well, the number one,
it's hard. It's
the number
challenging.
one thing is you cannot leave your frame as a parent.
Right.
The biggest issue that single mothers have, the single biggest defect that single mothers have is they treat their children like their peers and not like their parents.
Right.
Your children are not your peers.
And that's something I believe I've never done.
You believe you haven't. I would like to know what an outside observer would think, because you also had a man that you had that child with, and he's not there anymore.
Yeah, because of his choice. He got mad because, we broke up and I put him on child support, and he's still playing right now today.
And you chose him.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy? I couldn't stand him in high school. And he's like 8 years older than me. And he used to be, and I'm like, you hang around these high school and come to find out that's my damn baby daddy.
And correct. But what I'm saying is, by the way, and you chose that.
Yeah, I chose him.
Of all the options you had available, Miss Caramel, she chose that one. She bypassed all the others and chose that one. When all of his character flaws were obvious. They weren't hidden. Yeah. His character flaws were glaringly obvious. You literally just said, and by the way, I couldn't stand him in high school before this.
I could.
So based on your daughter's age, I'm assuming they all didn't get together in high school. He was 8 years older than you. So my point about that is, at this point right now, this fella's in his late 50s. So think about, I want you to be 49. Aware. Well, I want you to be aware,
57.
Folks, that's the example you teach your children also. It's okay to have kids by a man you can't stand. Okay, then what are we doing? What is the criterion by which we choose to have a man around, or much less have children with him? I don't even have to like him, and I can have children with him? Okay,
but
then what's the criteria?
I think, Jason, that comes from being honest. Being a kid growing up, losing my mom at 13, my dad not being there, being in this world, feeling like I was Tupac, me against the world before Tupac came out. So I was looking for love in all the wrong places. So now that I've come to myself, like the prodigal woman, it's like, wait a minute.
Well, I'm saying this because I just want you to understand where you're actually standing at. And if you want your daughter to be impressionable to something, to the extent she can be, I want you to understand where you actually are, not where you wish you were or where you think you are. Your children will learn from your example, not your advice. Generally, when they run out of answers, then they start listening to advice.
Yes.
So please be aware that that's what the actual circumstances are. And if that's the man you chose to make the father of this girl, who's now a woman, That's what she's observed. And if
Yes.
that was okay for mom, by your example. So I'm saying this for you and for anybody else listening. Please understand, folks, while you sitting out here bull jiving around, just remember there's somebody else who's going to take this as gospel. That this is viable and this is acceptable. And she didn't even have to have her mom die to be okay with that. So what I'm saying is,
I can tell by her choices. You're
starting to see
right,
to see some parallels.
Yes, and I can snatch her wig off, and she don't even wear a wig.
Okay, and who taught her? But she's been conditioned. She's lived in the environment, and whereas under other circumstances it would be shocking and repulsive, she's like, I've been seeing that my whole life. So it's not bothering and shocking like it should be to be a deterrent. So what I'm going to tell you is on your and her part, you're going to have to be there to advise her. You cannot raise her at this point. I don't want you nagging her. People don't listen to folks. They nag them.
I don't do that.
I told you so. It doesn't work that great either. However, you need to be very strongly encouraging in the right directions and very advising about the wrong ones. I wish she could go to New York, because I think going to New York for a couple of years would straighten her out. Because if she has to hump things on her own, that'd be different. Is she living with some kinfolk right now?
She's since I'm here in California, she's in my apartment in Florida.
Who's paying for the apartment in Florida?
Huh?
Who's paying for the apartment in Florida?
I am. We're going half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, when folks have to pay all their own bills, they become a whole lot more serious about things.
Yes, that's true.
So I would keep that in mind also.
Yes, sir.
But right now, number one thing, you're not going to be able to do a bunch of child rearing. We passed that a while ago.
Yeah, we passed.
The number one thing now is to be her advisor.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the most important thing you can do. And when she gets more experience, you're going to sound less crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
When she gets more experience, you'll sound a little less crazy and a little less old and out of touch. But
like my dad.
First, she got to get there. She has to get there. So at this point right now, you're going to just need to stop panicking, stop wringing your hands about it. But definitely you need to just be an advisor at this point. Keep your eyes and your ears open since somebody needs to. But do not panic. Do not try to be her peer, and do not try to micromanage.
No.
The chance to do that has already passed you.
Long gone.
Any attempt to make her your child again is going to be met with severe resistance, as it should, because you're not supposed to be raising a child. You're supposed to be raising an independent being. They cannot be independent and be your dependent at the same time.
Right.
So you have to choose one. At this point,
Jason,
that's not an option.
You just put icing on my birthday today. I really, really, really needed this, because this is the avenue that I'm going in with my daughter, because I made so many mistakes, and to the point where I had to take my hands off of it. And every now and then, I'll come in and she received that better than me being that tiger mom. Cause
what happens is you all single mothers make their children their social circle. That's the problem with you all not having a competent man, because a family starts with a man and a woman, not a woman and a bunch of kids. You all have children. They become your pets. They become your social circle. They become your little buddies. They become your little sisters. And the problem is you fall out of touch being able to socialize with other people. Then you start becoming deceived, because now you're trying to take care of your little buddy and make sure nothing happens to them. So now you coddle them. Now, once they become grown, you haven't realized you can't coddle them. When you have a man around you, he stops that coddling stuff quickly.
Yes.
Even though you're uncomfortable with it. That's how you end up not being 50 years old, still trying to coddle him, is when you got a man to tell you stop that. But if there's no man to stop you, you end up 50 years old, still trying to figure out how to get them back in their crib, which is unworkable. And furthermore, they don't belong there. So now it's time to let them take their knocks to learn. Because you didn't have a man to steward this when they were young. Now they have to do it in their 20s, when you don't have any powers to control how hard they're going to get hit now, which is what bothers you. When they were little children and fell, you could control some of that about how hard they got hit. Now you can't control any of it. And this is the trade-off for not doing these things. The bill always comes due. And it's not because you're the worst person who's ever lived, but folks, decisions have consequences. They had consequences for me. They'll have consequences for all of us. If we bypass those yield and warning signs, we'll wake up one day and it's like things that are beyond your control will start happening.
Yes.
In our desperate attempt to control them as children, now we've lost control as adults. And I certainly want the best for your daughter. Absolutely, I want the best for her.
Thank you.
But that's not enough.
Right.
That's not enough. What is enough is what she wants. And I'm hopeful that you have put in more good training than otherwise. And by the way, I don't care how quote unquote great and well you raise your kids. You know, there's always going to be some things that are risky that you don't like. You know, I've told the story about this here before about, talking about my mom. You know, right after Charlottesville, I went down there right after they had the riots there. And then I went to Noonan, Georgia, where the white supremacists had shown up there. And, they had half all the law agencies in Georgia were in Noonan that weekend. And I told my parents I was going, and my mom was like, it's pretty risky down there right now. And I said, yeah, I know, but I have to go down there. And she's like, I'm worried about you. I'd never seen my mom like that before. And I just told her, I said, this is the man you raised me to be. I couldn't imagine not going. And I don't have any children myself, but I can only imagine how difficult it is as a parent to hear your child say that they know that these are dangerous places that they're going to. And they're like, yeah, and I'm going.
Yeah.
Now, people love my filmmaking and stuff like that, but by the way, that's pretty darn risky. And I don't have any tattoos, and I don't have any kids or anything or the other, and I did that. I do that. I still do it. There's a certain amount of risk with your children you're going to have to live with, regardless, even under the best of circumstances. But your job is to be mom, and mom is supposed to be stable and an advisor, and that lets them go out and go branch themselves out to a certain degree. You're the one who provides stability in that regard. You shouldn't coddle them, but your job is to provide stability. You're still teaching from your example, and you're still teaching from your example today, believe it or not. She doesn't have all the answers, and every time she slips and falls or gets knocked down, she's going to go looking for answers.
Yes.
And the more that she does that, the more she'll be receptive and listening to what you're saying. But at this point now, she's going to have to learn. She can't learn from your experiences now. She has to learn from her own. Your job is to be the most helpful resource she has during this period. That's your job now. Happy 49th birthday to you here. I certainly hope many more.
Thank you.
You can go ahead and get a navel ring now, I suppose.
No, hell no.
Well, she say navel ring? Hell no. Let me get the septum ring.
No.
Real women have septum rings. I wouldn't get a ring in my navel. That's what your nose is for.
Hey, this was no, that's it. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
We'll see.
Tattoos, all that. I'm done.
We'll see. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. What's she saying? Navel piercing? Oh, hell no. That's what you have a nose for. She got a piercing in her, she got a septum ring in her nose, but no navel? That's off limits. No way. That's unreasonable. Okay, this bull ring in your nose? What about that? Oh, that's okay. Okay, so the navel is off limits, but the nose is legit. All right, Remy G, why are you sideways, bro? Let me go ahead and see if I can get Remy G up in here. Remy G is trying to figure out how to connect his audio. I don't know why you're sideways, Remy G. I hope your truck didn't flip over. There he goes. All right, waiting for him to get his audio together. Y'all, I don't know what they're doing with the audio here tonight. Okay, Remy G, check and see where your audio is, bro. Okay, I think he found it. All right, Remy G, speak. I bet you he's listening to me on YouTube. There's a big, long delay. He'll be late.
Mr. Black, I do apologize.
All right, sir. What's on your mind?
Hey, quick question. So I had a debate with my brother about you brushed over it earlier in this conversation in regards to facts. Just a quick question. I wanted to pick your brain on facts over feelings. What do you feel about facts over feelings?
What do I feel about facts over feelings?
Yes, sir. My stance is I believe facts feelings, but I do still believe feelings still should be acknowledged in the certain context that you're talking about.
Well,
am I wrong?
Our feelings should be informed by the facts. Our facts should not be informed by our feelings. There's the problem. So facts should be a factor in how you feel. Your feelings shouldn't be a factor in what you consider to be facts. When you start disregarding things because it's difficult for you to accept or it's getting in the way of what you want to do, that's when you get into trouble.
Right. Okay. And another question, what does a man looks like that is, what can I say? I'm having a brain fart right now. Not a confident man, but it just slipped my mind.
Competent?
No word. See, Mr. Black, that's why you're the man. Competent man. What are some examples of a competent male?
Okay, well, remember, I'm the guy who defines these things in a practical way you all understand them. Right. So what makes a man an alpha? Power. What makes a man competent? Competence simply means you can finish what you start. Let me give you an example. This is an example I'll give you, and this will be one that probably can resonate with you. All right. Let's just say you go hire a mechanic to work on your truck. He is the best mechanic in town. Well, I wonder how you define that. If you hire a mechanic to do the brakes on your truck, 6 months later, the brakes are still not done. How great of a mechanic is he?
Not so great.
But he's the best mechanic that you all have ever seen. But what you're saying is that, no, if he can't finish what he starts, he's not a good mechanic. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I don't care how great his work has been. If he can't finish it, if he can do 90% of a brake job, he can disassemble it, take the old pads off, put the new pads on, he can do everything else except hook up the calipers. 6 months later, he hasn't hooked up the calipers. He's trying to convince you how great he's done because he's done everything except connect the calipers. He's never going to convince you that he's a great mechanic, because what he's showing you is he can't finish what he starts. He doesn't get credit for coming close. You get credit for finishing what you start, and then next, you're not competent if you're inefficient. So even if he does finish what he starts, if it takes him too long to do it, once again, he's not competent. So being able to finish what you start is what defines competence. Competence builds confidence. When you know that you can do something and do it well, then you get confident. That's how that works.
Right.
Then you get confident. Without that, nothing else matters. Or at least you're not going to be very competent in anything. Nothing else matters. And that's a big issue. Now, most men do not develop an expertise. And because they don't develop an expertise, they haven't finished what they started. They're not becoming excellent. Because they're not excellent, they don't have confidence. They're not confident. Now they don't know how to measure themselves against other men. So they come up with their assumptions and start talking crap out of their ears. But you haven't actually proven you're better. Once you prove it, well, now you can start making comparisons. But most men don't do that.
Right. Well, if you had to, guess, what's the percentage that you think men of today's age are competent?
Well, it's not much of a percentage there. There's excellence and general competence. You can really put that about 40%. Top 10%, top 10% to 20% is going to be, top 10% is going to be excellent. The top 10, 20%, including the top 10%, is going to be very good. And then it's going to be the passable competence. That's going to be about the other 20% below that. And then 2/3 of the males, 60%, are pretty much average, mediocre. But please remember, average is a moving factor and average is struggling. The average, you take a look at the man today who's making the average income, which is around 60,000. That's struggling.
Yeah.
He's not affluent. He's 60,000 in most cities in America is paycheck to paycheck. He doesn't really have a lot of abilities or mobility. He can't call any hands. He doesn't really have a whole lot that he can do. He's struggling. Has nothing to do with his character. Has nothing to do with whether or not he helps little ladies across the street. It has nothing to do with whether or not he's a law-abiding citizen. That doesn't count in this arena. So the average male is struggling. He unfortunately has proven that he can't finish what he started. Well, what has he failed to do? He has failed to move out of struggling. He's failed to do it. He will just be considered to be incompetent. Why? Because there's a good number of men who can look down on him. He can't lead any of them. The women and the children can see this. Now you're being measured by that metric. You're struggling. And for most males, that's difficult because they have never been raised in a competitive environment or formally taught how to succeed. They don't have it. So they got their iPads and they got their entertainment and they got their Netflix, and then eventually they just become comfortable where they are. And even of that 40% I mentioned, really only the top 20% actually excels. Those other guys there, they're professionals and they're doing better than the guys who are struggling, but it wouldn't take a whole lot to knock them back down again.
I was just about to say, eventually, majority of them fall to the wayside through complacency.
Well, yeah, but here's the issue, though. Please remember, the top 20% is always progressing and moving forward. The bottom 80% is trying to figure out how to just maintain where they are. They're not actually trying to move forward and get ahead and be bigger than they are. They're trying to get to a good place and sing cruise and coast. That's where you get your pension pimps, the pension pimping and the affluent asses. You get the ass kissers. That's where that comes in. They just want to get to a comfortable place so that they can stop dedicating so much mental and emotional bandwidth to making money, so that now they can go ahead and chase females and this, that, and the other, because they didn't have the firepower to do it before. Okay, now I'm only 58 years old. My finances are finally together. Okay, where the hoes? And that's where that comes from. He wasn't able to get it together before now. Now he thinks he can finally start doing that. Okay, I don't have to worry about the money anymore. Yeah, it only took you 30 years. Okay, let me go chase some females. Whereas the men who've always had that kind of selectivity, they actually become a lot more successful a lot quicker because we didn't have to chase females for 30 years. We got it out of our system in the first 10 of adulthood. And the rest of the time is being spent on enhancing ourselves, which of course leads to more women and more options.
Right.
As opposed to a guy who spends his whole life trying to get his money straight, and then he becomes like a teenager. He's starting to learn about females at the age of 50 or 60. And you see a lot of that, which of course just strikes you as incompetent. Incompetent is the core of incompetence. You don't know. And a man at a certain point, the world expects you to just know. Rightly or wrongly, fair or unfair, that's what's expected of us. We're expected to know. The number one thing that turns a female on about you is if you know something. The tow truck driver knows how to fix the car, how to jack it up. The plumber knows how to do the pipes. If they know how to clean the pipes in your house and you don't, your woman is looking at them more approvingly than you. Because they just showed her that they know something you don't know.
What if you're even paying them, though? Does that still overshadow the skill? If I'm paying this man to do it, does that still have any type of standing?
What do you mean?
Well, when you brought up the plumber, he has a skill. What if I would pay the plumber to do the skill? Would he still overshadow me, even though I'm paying him?
He can.
Yeah.
He can. Please, fellas, don't deceive yourselves into thinking that your income is going to define your masculinity. Please don't tell yourself that one.
That pool boy coming for your wife.
That's a very dangerous one to sit up here and tell yourself that. It could be very,
sir.
very pleasing, but yeah, that's going to be something right there that you are not going to be wanting to do there. Don't tell yourself that your income protects you. Fair. A lot of fellas want to believe that because as men, we're linear and we can wrap our heads around that. Okay, if I make more money, then I should get more benefits. And that's not the way it works. In the abstract, that's the way it works. In the world of competition, what men don't understand is that once your financial issues have been resolved, your woman no longer appreciates it.
What? Right.
Once remember, you can only buy the Porsche for her the first time once. You can't do it 10 times. You can only buy the Fendi bag for the first time once. You can't do it for the first time 5 times. Well, Jason, what do you mean by that? Because once you've done it the first time, now she expects it. It's not new. It's not novel. You've proven you can do that. So in other words, you don't get those I conquered Mount Everest points anymore. You got that the first time you did it when you proved you could do it. From this day forward, she will expect you to climb Everest every week. Well, damn. So that's the way it works? Yes.
Yep.
Oh, so when I elevated her with that new tax bracket and whatnot, I don't get perpetual points for that? No. Now that you've done it, well, that's a relative term, what you just said. But what I'm saying is her expectation now is, well, now that you've done that, she expects that to be a given, not a gift. Your job is to make sure that she always understands that's a gift, not a given. Now, there's the other side of it. No one should ever take you for granted as a man because this costs you. It wasn't given to you. She needs to appreciate it because it wasn't given to you. It shouldn't be just given to her because it's not being given to you. You got to go scrap and get it.
Right.
So if she's gotten to a point where she's taken it for granted, you're already in trouble. But remember, you're not going to just have an everlasting gobstopper. That's not the way that works. Once you start achieving, it wears off quickly. And once you've got a certain level of affluence, she's not starry-eyed anymore. You can't trade on that any longer. That's it. So now what are you going to do? You can't impress her with a bigger paycheck. You're going to have something else. I want to say something right now. This is a very interesting thing you brought up right here. I want to say something. Fellas, y'all are not, nobody's told you all this here before, and the women are going to get real quiet when I say this right now. Women don't want us around like that. What? Except in rare cases. If you're
I've been telling my homeboy that for real.
If you're some guy who's just a fantastic conversationalist, you're a Neil deGrasse Tyson type, you have a type of female who likes that kind of thing. But for the average man, fellas, the average man, women don't want y'all around like that. They don't. Your money can't be straight enough for you. You haven't got enough money to be straight enough for her to want you to be kept around like that. She wants you to get you a job. Even if it's a part-time thing, she wants to be able to see you walk out the door so she can sit there and look at the couch and look at the TV and play with the dog and you nowhere around. That's literally life goals for her. Fellas be sitting up here, you like, I can lay up under her all week. She's like, I can lay up under this nigga all of 2 hours. Then he got to go. But fellas, they don't really want y'all around like that. They really, really don't. Not really. So please understand, a lot of men get confused. Women are not really trying to keep us around like that. They value us to the extent that we have value, but then they want space. They really, really do. They see the value is that you are going to provide her with space that she couldn't earn on her own. So once again, that's the other area where pinch and pimping fails. Because you like, finally, remember what I just told you a few moments ago? Finally, you doing the Birdman hand rubs. Finally, my money's straight. I can get my Viagra prescription. All right. Boy, look here. I ain't got to go to this job no more. All right. I'm going to be laying up with this chick 24/7, boys. Oh, it's going to be good now. I can finally go ahead and throw it up like I'm going to do it. And you're thinking to yourself it's going to be a triple X-rated flick 24/7 is what you're telling yourself. What I'm saying is that she's like, finally, a nigga that's done paid the bills. Let me see if I can find him a part-time job. Because he think he going to be here gripping my butt cheeks. And that's not really what the deal going to be. So I needed to say that so his dumb ass would marry me. But she is not, the fella, as men, we trying to figure out how to have a nonstop, Pornhub. Women are not. There's not a single woman listening to me right now who is trying to have a 24-hour day Pornhub. Not at all. Every man is trying to maneuver that situation. Zero of the females are. None. These are conflicting tendencies. So that's what I'm saying, fella. You want her to be around 20 hours of the day. She wants exactly the opposite. She wants you to be around for a few hours and make an incredible impression within a few hours. She does not want you to be, she doesn't want to take 20 hours for you to make an impression. Because she values you because of what she doesn't know. She assumes you are out there conquering the world, which is another way of saying increasing your value. She knows you can't do that laid up under her. Every bum and every failure she ever met, that's what they did. So the more you're around, she assumes there's nothing getting done. She's like, how in the hell are you conquering the world? You sitting right here with me and I'm not conquering it. So, yeah, they don't want you around like that because she's like, no, you gotta get out there and slay dragons. That's what I admire about you. You admire about me and how I fill this thong out. I admire about you out there conquering the world and you sitting here on the couch. All that says to her is there's somebody out there out competing you.
Well, I got a quick question then. How come military men have such a hard time, holding a wife, regardless of like not being home like that? You would think,
because the women know too much.
What you mean?
Military men did. First of all, the women know too much. That what you are given when you join the military is a given. It's like that's a government benefit. It's a given. It's not a product of what you've earned. Anybody who goes to the military and stays in long enough is going to get the same thing. And everybody knows it. Assuming you don't get yourself killed, everybody who goes in the military is going to leave with the same thing. It's not like you're going to get it because you were just the world's greatest soldier. When like you was Rambo. That's not the reason you got it. You join the military, you get automatic benefits. Women know this. You're not going to get much credit for that because she knows, and everybody gets that. It's not like you getting some executive package anybody else getting. Damn. Everybody gets that. The other thing is she already knows what you're going to be doing. You're going to have a deployment. You're going to go overseas. You're going to do this, that, and the other. So she knows too much. When you're self-employed, you run your own business or this, that, and the other, I tell guys, don't let a woman know everything you're doing. Don't let her know what you're making. In the military, she knows what you're making. She knows where you're staying. She knows who you're with. She knows your rank. She knows your commanding officer. She knows too much. When you self-employed, you got your own thing or whatever, or you have a job and she ain't all in your business. She doesn't know anything. So she knows what you tell her and she knows what you show her. But hopefully she doesn't have so much information she can start taking things for granted and start making assumptions. Military dudes, they're an open book. That's why women love to take advantage of them because they're an open book. Hell, you can look up the damn military pay grades online. You got a whole damn chart for them. She doesn't have to wonder what you got. She knows.
They break that bit down to the T.
The other thing is that military guys are too damn quick to give it up. I mean, the biggest simps in the world, no offense, but they know it. The biggest simps in the world are in the military. They so desperate to have something. They do. There's no vetting process whatsoever. If she down, he down. And what I'm saying is that doesn't breed respect. You didn't make them jump through no hoops or nothing. They didn't have to do anything. You're just sitting there. So they do themselves a tremendous amount of disservice. They're too quick. They're too eager. They're too impatient. And they're too much of an open book. So they're just, for the most part, they're sitting ducks.
Did you see the whole thing about LeBron James and his wife?
LeBron James put up a post a few days ago, whatever, talking about how great his wife is and blah, 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 blah. I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. He said, I wouldn't be where I am today without her. I'm like, okay. I've been telling y'all fellas for years, don't say that.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
I seen it. I was like, you shouldn't have said that shit.
Tell me if she ever decides to pull out on you, how you gonna go to court and say she shouldn't get half? You literally posted to the world, I would not be where I am without her. All she gotta do is say, Your Honor, Exhibit A.
You're taking him to the bank.
He would not be where he is without me. Dude, how are you gonna discount the value of her looking after the kids all these years and whatnot? You just said that I would not be where I am without her. You might as well have told the judge, let her have 60%. Damn half. Jesus. Why don't she get 60%? Fellas, don't think. You'll never listen to me. You ain't never going. J-Lo never went nowhere and said that I wouldn't be where I am without Ben. Nowhere. Mary J. Blige, nobody. There's not a female y'all can name who would say, I wouldn't be where I am without this man over here. They're not going to say that. They're not going to say it. The fellas stood up here, and this is what I mean by it makes them weak. Sex makes them weak. They get confused. They get broke down. Next thing you know, he's saying things like that. And what I'm saying is, dude, you do realize every divorce lawyer in America is licking his chops right now. I mean, if she ever send the word, if she ever sends the word, that's a wrap. And that statement right there, I keep telling y'all, men don't think about that. You think to yourself, you're just making a term of endearment. Sir, you do realize you're giving a value judgment, right? One that she can walk into a court of law with and say, this is the value that I gave to the marriage. That what I was doing for him was equal to all those championships he won. And I'm not the one saying it. He said it. No, y'all. That's not what I meant. No, I didn't mean it like that right there. It was Valentine's Day. It was St. Patrick's Day. It was a birthday. And it wasn't like that. And he gonna be in court trying to say that. Fellas, it's not about being disrespectful. It's about you not being gullible. That's just it. The females don't act like this.
Now, there's a video where she flat out, she was in an interview with some other lady, and essentially she basically told LeBron James, don't introduce her as his wife, because she's more than a wife. And I think Corey Holcomb did a reaction on it. I thought it was pretty funny. But what's your opinion on that type of language being used? Is that like a precursor for a setup? Like, like she don't want to be introduced as his wife? Well, what else
did she say as his wife or his wifey?
Wifey.
Okay.
Well, what's the difference? It's the same term. Well, I kind of can see it.
Yeah, okay. It's not the same term because you got a bunch of back of the book married folk there. When we ain't married on paper. So to an extent, I can understand that.
Okay.
Here's my issue. My issue is, did you say that to your husband or did you say that to somebody else?
Well, she said it to him.
No. That's not what I'm saying. You're saying that I want y'all to understand. She said this in an interview.
Right.
She didn't say this at home to her husband.
Ooh.
You're telling me that you can show me I can show you a video of her saying this to somebody who is not LeBron James. Now, I don't have a problem with her saying she doesn't want to be called wifey. I have a problem with, by the way, did you say that to your husband or did you say it to somebody else? You have some criticism of your husband that you are advertising to somebody who's not the head of your household?
Disrespectful.
Now, that's the part that I take offense at. That's the part right there that got my ears going up. So that sounds like somebody trying to check me, and they're not coming to me. They're going to somebody else. No, if you got an issue with me, you bring that to me. There's avenues you supposed to go. There's channels you go through. You go through the proper channels if you have an issue with me as your husband. The proper channel is not some hoe on BET. That's not the proper channel. Because remember something I taught you all, and you know this. There's a reason that you do not disrespect your parents. The reason for that is because the world is only going to give you half the respect that they see you give your parents.
Mm-hmm.
You give your parents very little respect, the world's going to give you half of that. You give them little, they're going to give you none. Well, the world is only going to give Savannah's husband half the respect they see her give him.
How does that translate like that though?
Because she is his representative. Oh. Your woman is your representative. That's why every man wants a bad to the bone broad, because a bad to the bone broad has options, but she has chosen you. Therefore, but that's because you have something that she doesn't. She admires you. You must be a hell of a dude. That's non-verbally communicating that. That's why she's your representative. She communicates all that just standing next to you. She's your representative. How she behaves and how she comports herself proves that. In the chat room, somebody said, look at Jada. Yeah, take a look at Jada Pinkett Smith. You want to know how that goes? You want to know how being a representative works? We didn't have a problem with her for the first 15 years. She was an excellent ambassador. And by the way, where was Will Smith's career the first 15 years he was with her?
To the roof.
As soon as she started running around with August and all them other niggas, what happened to Will? Well, I'll be damned. Well, I'll be damned. So so those two things really are interconnected. Well, there you go. So if your representative is wilding out and representing you poorly, then the rest of the world starts taking liberties. And how can they not? You ain't got no trump card because you can't tell them, oh, well, that's my wife. She can do that. You can't. Don't work that way, partner. It don't work that way, partner, because all I got to do is put a microphone in her face and she's going to be on my side criticizing you.
She's going to blow up the spot.
So there's the real issue about it. If she's really not out of pocket, then you're not going to be hearing that. So my issue is not that she said that, and it's not that she even has a criticism of him. My thing is, okay, you going public with this to other people? We can replay this online? Really? Mm-hmm. No. In my book, that's out of line. That's the part that's out of line for me, not the vernacular. That's not the problem I have. The problem I have is, by the way, you wasn't even talking to your husband when you said that. Well, who is this person for you to be speaking on this man publicly? Really? Who is this for you to speak on him like that? That's my issue. And the fact that it's this far along, like I said,
he's better, cheaper to keep him.
All I can say here, fellas, is when you make it too easy and they ain't got to work for it and they don't have to earn it and you put the world at their feet and you grateful just because she had the kids and she ain't sleeping with the rest of the team. I mean, when you start lowering the bar, that the bar is not for her to enhance her value to you. The bar is, well, you didn't sleep with the team. Okay. Familiarity breeds contempt, y'all. Familiarity breeds contempt. And when she's sitting up here doing interviews and speaking like that, just understand it's like that's not a good sign. Well, Jason, what do you think of it? That's not a good sign. That's what I think of it. That's not a good sign. And by the way, she said some other little things. In her case, that's something that folks are starting to notice, that she does little things. We haven't actually seen something huge. We're just hearing little things that seem a little odd and out of pocket here and there. Little things.
Spurts.
Yeah, but they're seeming to get more frequent. Because we didn't hear anything 10 years ago. Nope. Now we're starting to notice more things. The children are getting older and whatnot. The end of his playing career is now in sight.
Damn.
And doesn't this all sound so familiar to what we've seen now 1,000 times? The closer he gets to hanging up them boots, hanging up them cleats, the more out of pocket and the more out of line they start talking. And it's like, yeah, we've seen this one before now, haven't we? I'm not going to say Tom Brady and the rest of them. We've seen this before. Yeah, the more you do that and whatnot, it's like, okay, now she feels like, hell, nigga, I've been with you all this damn time. I'm going to get everything I want. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm going to get everything I want. Everything. What you going to do?
Nothing. Can't do shit.
And that's the real reason right there for Russell Wilson, Ben Affleck, and the rest of them. This is the reason why the women filed divorce. The women filed divorce because you don't realize they've been sitting on this all this time. She wants to be the one to call that shot. She doesn't want you to call it. She wants to be the one to call that shot on you.
Steph Curry?
I mean,
Curry?
I think Aisha's been showing you. If Aisha gets somebody that she thinks feels is a real option, that's when she's going to drop Steph.
Damn.
So far, the problem with her is she's like Kamala Harris. She's so damn awkward. She got that biracial awkwardness, you know, that mixed mulatto awkwardness. She's got so much of that. She ain't got no swag to her, you know. So that's why a nigga that's papered up is like, yeah, you ain't really an improvement, baby. You don't really upgrade me like that, you know.
She's
so
square.
That's the problem for her. Ciara doesn't have that problem. Now there's the difference. Ciara don't have that problem. So what's stopping Aisha is Aisha. But if she could get over that, then it'd be a different issue. It'd be a different issue. But she's gonna want somebody who's at least doing as well as Steph is. That's a high hurdle to clear. That's a high one. And the guys who are, they're looking for a chick with more swag than her. So she kind of stuck there. That's not a good thing for Steph because, okay, if she's not where she wants to be and she feels like she's stuck, now every day she's resentful. Because she's like, I'm really doing you a favor just being around, even though it's not true. A lot of you fellas don't understand. Your woman is sitting next to you thinking she's doing you a favor just being there. That quiet contempt. She would never say it openly, not until she thinks she found something to replace you with. Then they start really coming out. So in the case of Savannah, what I'm going to say is I'm hearing little things, not big things, but little things that I've heard about 2 or 3 things now that made me raise my eyebrow. Things that she's done in public. And I'm just like, If it only happened once, that'd be different. Now I've counted about 3 of them. Like, okay, we've gone beyond the trend. Now we got a pattern. And it's like, by the way, how are your toes doing, LeBron? Oh. How are those ankles doing, LeBron?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we want to go to the Olympics and get some medals because we're looking to go out on a high note. Understood. By the way, LeBron, what state do you live in now?
L.A.
Oh, well, that's the city, California.
Oh, California, yeah.
And where's the most advantageous female place in America for a rich female to divorce a man? California. So if they gonna make that move, she would want to make it. Well, okay,
right there.
If you all think that's gonna happen, she would want to do like the rest of them, and she would want to start in on that road right before he retires. So when he tells her, this is my last season, that's going to be her cue to go call the divorce lawyer before he can relocate you all to another state.
That's why. Okay.
Like Shaquille O'Neal did. And that's what Shaquille O'Neal did with Shawnee.
What'd he do?
Shaquille O'Neal moved to another state. That's the whole, had the residence in another state. So that's what got them. I want to say it was Florida, but got to another state. Okay. Tiger Woods was in Florida. So yeah, folks want to be in California and go make their money out there with the sports teams and whatnot. If she's going to file, she needs to do it before you leave so that California is your state of residence and that's where she can file. So if that suspicion is correct, then my calculus would be when he informs her that this is my last season, then that's when she's going to go for it. She needs to do it before he leaves the NBA. Because if you wait after, he can go buy another house and be gone within 30 days. Mm-hmm. You're going to want to, what ties him to California is the team he works for. Mm-hmm. So you can guarantee his residence there. You wait until after he retires and he could pack up and leave in 30 days. So if she's going to make that move, if that's what she's been waiting to do, look for her to do that, just like Gisele Bündchen did to Tom Brady. Look for her to do it in that last season or in very close proximity to it. Look for it to happen then.
Was Gisele in Tampa when Tom was playing in Tampa, or was she still in Cali?
I don't know where she was. I do know that we knew when she wanted to leave. We all know that Tom wanting to pack it up, that's when she wanted to leave. I think a lot of folk have that backwards. I think that she saw the value in him as a football player. She didn't, and that was overshadowing her was what she was resentful of. But as soon as it's time for these fellas to lock it up, she's like, okay, well, that's it. You've reached the end of your earning potential. I think a lot of fellas don't understand. Women don't just jump up one day and they're unhappy with you on a random Tuesday. She's been unhappy with the situation for a while. She's just been waiting for her chance to pull the trigger on it. Mm-hmm. A woman will sit there with you for years, decades, hating your ass the whole damn time. And she's just like, I just wasn't in the position to do anything about you before. Well, now I've done got as much equity out the game. We've been married for 10, 15 years. I'm going to be straight no matter what occurs. Nigga, you owe me on the kind of fact I was putting up with your ass all this time. Let me go ahead and run them pockets. And you like, I'll be damned. So she been sitting up here laying up and sucking and every damn thing else for 10, 15 and been hating me the whole while? Fellas, I mean, I got a bunch of dudes in here right now who divorced, found it out the hard way. This chick will be laying up. Oh, I'm sorry. There's some single men in here. Y'all, some of y'all done lived it. This chick was sitting up here hating your ass for a year, 2, 3 years. And you're like, I'll be damned. You've been sitting here this whole damn time. Yep. I've been waiting on my chance. Now, here it is. It's now or never. Okay, let's go ahead and pull it. Most men don't understand that your woman talked to a divorce lawyer a year or two before she ever let you know anything. I can't believe the number of men who don't understand that no woman just gets divorced out of no damn where. Every woman goes and gets a damn consultation. Divorce is too difficult to do on your own. A woman is not going to just jump up and go get a divorce. She went and talked to an attorney a year or 2 years before you ever found out anything. She already then went and talked to him. Most fellas in here think they woman just got up one day and did something. Nigga, she did that a year or two beforehand because she had to get planned and get in position and find out how to get her chips stacked up like she needed to. Because once she files on you, she knows that as soon as she files them papers, from that day forward, you're not going to do anything for her.
Right.
As soon as she serves with them papers, brother, you ain't going to do nothing else for her. Nothing.
So,
okay, so when does she need to have her ducks lined up? She can't do it that day. It's gonna take her a year or two to get that all lined up. All right, I'm straight. Now here your papers are.
I think the lead attorney said something. He had a live, I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, about exactly what you're talking about, how a lot of men just don't know how, slimy these women get in this lawyer situation when coming with divorce and stuff. They line these guys up so clean, like these guys don't even see it coming.
Most men don't understand your woman, her mama's helping her.
Say that one more time.
Most men don't understand their mama is helping her.
They mama?
Well, her mother is, although it might be your mama too, though. In some cases, it'll be your mama. But when women want to get divorced, her whole family gets together on that. Now, they wouldn't help her marry you, but they'll all get together to help her divorce you.
Ain't that a bitch?
Mama will be sitting there the whole damn time, especially if mom is a divorcee. Oh, baby, don't worry. I know a good lawyer and everything like this. She tells her everything she needs to do to line your ass up to get put behind a ball. Her whole family will get together. The whole damn family will get together and conspire to make sure she got everything in place, and ain't nobody said nothing to you. You ain't got you sitting over there damn me Thanksgiving with a bunch of niggas sitting around the table with the damn turkey and whatnot, hating your damn guts. And all of them conspiring against you. And you have no idea what's going on. Fellas, I've never been married, and I know this. A woman does not jump up on a random Tuesday and hand you no divorce papers. It's too complicated a process. She had to go talk to somebody before. No, never been married before. No, I've seen too many of y'all niggas get run over. That's enough for me. I don't have to drink mop water to know it's not worth drinking.
Jason, how tall are you, Jason? 6'4", 6'2"?
Close. But here,
Louisiana.
Here's the thing. When you stay in your wallet, you can be as tall as you want to be.
All right, that's fair, but you ain't never been in love. You ain't never been married. You've never
love is a word.
Fair.
Love is a word that can mean anything to anybody that they want it to mean. That's the problem with that word. So we all can use that word love, but it means different things to different people.
Right.
So I don't subscribe to that. Not the way that I don't subscribe to that as the definitive boundary. We need to have firm standards and firm interests.
And you haven't found that yet?
Found it. I mean, I don't think it's something for me to find, to be totally honest. I don't think it's something for me to find. Here's the issue. I've got options. I've got leeway. And for when you have that kind of thing right there, I'm not pressed for anything.
Fair.
I'm not pressed. The fellas I see sitting up here making the worst decisions, they're the ones who are pressed. They're the ones who think that the woman's going to give them something that they don't already have. They're fellas who are not competitive. And there's the other thing is that if I had a wife and kids, I'd have to do half what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
You can't keep running at 1,000 miles an hour and you got a wife and kids. You can't move like that. That's why single men make more money than married men do, contrary to popular belief, because married men can't take the risks that single men can.
Right.
They're not able to. I couldn't imagine not being able to do that. I couldn't imagine it. So for me, that's the priority. But I've given myself that leeway. I've given myself that latitude. I'd rather be able to have a wife and kids and be able to say no I would rather not have a wife and kids and be able to say yes than have a wife and kids and not be able to say no. Which is where most married men are today. Truth be told, most married men are living lives of quiet desperation. They in it and wishing they can get out of it. And have a whole bunch of magazines lying about it. They don't ever ask the men what the hell they think. They belong to the game. They stuck in it. And every time they see a young fellow with options they don't have, I mean, you see it all the damn time. Damn, wish I would like you. Wish I could do that. And you can't. You can't. He's on this treadmill where he's got to run his tongue out to keep up with all these bills to take care of all these people. But he's lost his freedom. And as a result, he's kind of lost himself. So he's giving freedom to other people at the expense of his own. For me, it's just never been that kind of thing. I've just never had a problem with that. So I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. But right now, I value having options. Could that change one day? Sure, it could. It certainly could. But it's not something I'm chasing.
Jason, how old are you? You're what, 46?
This fella here asks a lot of questions. You with the FBI?
You right. I am asking a lot of questions, and I'm gonna land my plane here because I've been watching you for like 3-4 years now. I'm fascinated. Quick last question. In regards to the trucking post you posted, I believe it was 2 days ago or yesterday. I sent you an email about it. Are you still gonna carry through with the program that you were talking about?
Yeah. Once I get enough people who respond to it and things, they'll get an email from me.
Absolutely.
So there's a certain number I'm waiting for. Once I get that number, then we're gonna go. You'll all get the email from me telling you what the next steps will be.
10-4, boss. Hey, and quick question: tech or airplane maintainer? What you think?
Boy, considering what you're doing right now, is that something you're considering, or you're just asking it in the abstract?
Both.
I guess it depends on which one you really want, because going into aircraft isn't something that takes huge degrees. And so once you got that skill set, if you really enjoy it, because I know a number of people who work at Boeing, they wouldn't want to do anything else, but it doesn't require a degree to do it, except for the aircraft engineers. But everybody else really doesn't need one. So if you really love to get into aerospace and aeronautics and do that, then like I say, that's so unique. That's not something a degree could give you.
Right.
So if you really want to work in that field, you'd have to just go ahead and do that. That's just unique. You can't really compare that to something else. It's off by itself.
Right. Well, I guess I was kind of I should have asked a better question in regards to longevity. Which one do you think has more longevity?
I mean, but they're both kind of equal. I mean, aircraft are not going anywhere. We don't have a viable replacement for it. The laws of physics supersede that. I love the Iron Man movies. An ARP reactor is great fantasy. It's not something you can actually do.
Right.
So there's the whole reason why they had to come up with, we have a new element. Okay, let me know when you get that together. So the laws of physics preclude, being able to fly other, we don't have anti-gravitons don't exist. So we don't have another way of being able to resist the gravitational attraction between ourselves and Earth other than to be able to resist it with aerodynamics through gravity and through the air pushing in another direction. So without those things, that's going to be it. You don't have a third option. So aircraft as we know it are not going anywhere, not for the next century or two. That's going to be what it's going to be. We'll have more efficient planes, but that's all there's going to be. You're not going to replace it with something else. Hell, cars, for the most part, by the way, are going to remain the same. Technology is different. That one's going to change radically, particularly once we get, right now, AI is changing a lot of things for entertainment purposes, not really to change industries. The thing that will change industries will be quantum computing. That'll be the thing that's really going to change things, and I see that happening within the next 20 years. We'll most likely have a viable quantum computer then. So technology is always going to be changing. Aerospace is not going to be changing. How we're going to get to Mars? A chemical rocket. How will you get from LA to New York? An airplane, a jet engine. Will they get more efficient? Yes. Will we use something other than jet engines and rocket engines? No. That's what it'll be. There is no contender to replace chemical rockets, and there is no contender to replace jet engines. So those will be here for the next couple of centuries. A lot of folks are going to have a lot of dreams and fantasies, but physics precludes that. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, Jason, do you wear Hanes or Fruit of the Loom? Yeah, Jason, do you like 5'6" or 5'4"? Damn! Hey, Jason, do you like to sleep in the tank top or bareback?
And deal with it, nigga.
Hey, Jason, do you like to use cocoa butter or St. Ives? Damn! Just imagine it now. Next time I'm at the store, take something off the shelf, this nigga head pop out. Hey, Jason, you like Coca Pepsi? Let me shove this thing back up in here. Lessons to be learned here, folks. Lessons to be learned. We called it. It is what it is. I'm not wishing bad on anybody. I'm just here to report the news and to give you the heads up on it. You saw it coming. You saw it coming. I just want to warn you fellas, chicks who are in the discount bin, they become very sly. Once they realize they're in the discount bin and that they are easily discarded, they become even more slick and sly. They become more slick and sly, so keep your eyes and ears open. We have not seen nor heard the last of Miss Lopez. What? Oh, trust me, I promise you, she right now on the prowl for the next one. She is right now on the prowl for the next one. There's going to be some old geezer rummaging through the discount bin, some washed up rapper, some old businessman. They're going to be rummaging through there. He's going to flip over some DVDs. What's this over here? Oh, damn, what's this? Animal House? Soul Plane? Oh. Jennifer Lopez. She's going to tell him, waiting for you all my life. tell him I've been waiting for you all my life. Just saying. A lot of you fellas out there, I'm teaching you this so that you can recognize it in the future. The rest of these folks don't know. I'm just letting you know. By the way, the discount bin isn't just something you can look at. You stick around it long enough, and next thing you know, you're not looking in it, you're in it, looking out. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. Click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you have not been part of our Patreon, the link is in the description. We do it every weekend, 12 noon Central Time. You are more than welcome to join us. Got a lot going on here. The young man was asking about one of those things there. Like I say, I'm working on that as we speak. So we'll see. Once I get the number I'm looking for, we're going to do a little something. But Jason, what are we going to do? You'll find out. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Bobby Jimmy, being a channel member here. My man G-Mac, Cameron Fairchild, Dark Side Blues, 2 King, Oblivion, Red 55, Sir Shine, everybody else here. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And did I call it or did I call it?
And deal with it, nigga.
This concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business will handle you.